Hi, dear. What if I told you that you can get more exclusive and more exciting content? You can become a hokage in a hidden village of lonely kunoichi. For that, you just need to go to my boosty. The link will be in the description.
For year-old Naruto Namake's life had been pretty much the same in his short life. Wake up, dress, eat something, leave the house where his parents, his siblings, and he lived, go to the library to learn about chakra control, maybe explore the forest or multiple training fields, and then late at night come back to his house, where the members of his family barely noticed that the eldest of the 4 kids of the yondaime was missing in the entire day. At the start, he did it to call the attention of his parents. He thought that if he disappeared for long periods of time, they will start noticing him more. It didn't work. So, he thought that if he learns about chakra alone, his parents will notice him more. They're always talking on the chakra that his siblings have. Who doesn't know about that? After all, his siblings are the ones that contain the Kyuubi chakra. According to Minato, each have 3 tails of power. What does he have? Nothing. So if he learns how to mold chakra by himself, he might impress his parents and they might start training him too. He asked when the training of the others started, but they say no. They were too busy with the arrogance of his brother Katsuki, the smartass of Liz, and the hyperactive of the smaller sister Momo. Even though they were born the same day, Naruto is the oldest because he was born 20 seconds earlier than Katsuki. Each sibling was different its own way. Naruto is calmed and collected, Katsuki is arrogant and brash, Liz is smart with a bit of superiority complex, and Momo was really energetic and clingy of him. Probably the one that he likes the most is Momo. For more annoying she could get to be. Anyway, Naruto got dressed and ate a toast that he made himself and left the house. I'm leaving. Nothing. He looked through the crystal door that lead to the backyard and there he saw his siblings and parents training, seemingly trying to unlock their chakra. He closed his eyes and left the house. It was Sunday, so the library was closed. As usual, he would go to the forest and try to put in practice what he had learned so far. The treatment he received from the civilians was completely different also. His siblings are labeled as heroes, he is nothing. He is sure that most of them not even know that he is son of the Hokage. After a long walk, he finally got into one of the training fields. He isn't sure of what training field exactly is, but he likes it a lot. Probably because of the waterfall. It had this mysterious charm about it. He got into the lotus position and making the ram seal he started to focus chakra. A warm feeling from the stomach, he thought as he remembered what he read. After 30 minutes he couldn't get nothing. Damn, Naruto cursed. What's the point of doing this alone, if I can't actually do it? He whispered to himself. He looked at the waterfall and he saw from the inside something shining. His curiosity got the better of him, as he started to go on a rock path that was across the little pond. When he got next to the waterfall, he saw that there was some sort of cave that was covered by the falling water. He climbed to enter the cave as he got wet. His clothes were soaked now just as his normal spiky blonde hair. He got into the cave and started to look around looking for the shining object. When he arrived to the end of the cave he saw it. Resting against a rock, there was a katana in a black scabbard that seemed to be made out of wood, with metallic ornaments at the far end. The handle was made with black and white materials and the hilt had the relief of a dragon. It also had a cord that is used to tie the katana to the hip. He was hypnotized with the sword. It was beautiful. It emanated this aura of power, of strength, and it felt like if the sword was calling him. With hesitant steps, he walked closer to the sword and with a nervously grabbed the handle. At that exact moment he could feel it. The sword, it was darkness, evil, malice. Naruto never felt this kind of emotion so strongly. Never. It was like those stories when the Kyuubi attacked. Naruto wanted to let go. Forget the katana and leave to never come back. But at the same time he didn't want to let go. Naruto. Namake's. Who said that? Naruto asked looking around for the voice. Do you seek recognition? What? Do you seek respect? I. Naruto didn't know how to answer. He didn't know from where the voice was coming and he didn't like how it talked. Do you seek love? The voice finally asked and Naruto's mind was filled with images of his parents hugging him. telling him how proud of him they are, how much they love him. I do, Naruto finally said, and the dark voice chuckled. Then, you are seeking power that I can give you. Power. Child power is what moves people, economic power, political power, and the power that each person has within. Those persons gain respect, recognition, and love. Wield the katana. Wield me, Yamato, and I will give you all that. After that, Naruto passed out. 1 hour later, when Naruto woke up, he felt different. He didn't know how to describe it, but he just did. He looked at the katana. Yamato was its name. Without hesitation, he grabbed it and walked out of the waterfall and landed in the rock path. He walked back to land and got himself one more time in lotus position, leaving Yamato on his lap and making the ram seal. He focused to unlock his chakra. After 1 minute, he did it. He felt the warm sensation fill his body and go across it. He got on his feet and smirked. He looked at Yamato that he was holding in his hand. He remembers what it promised to him. But there's only one way to get to the objective. And it was training. Looking with a bored look at one of the trees, he walked towards it. Focus chakra on your feet. Too little, and you will not stick. Too much, and you will be blasted. Naruto muttered to himself as he got into training. Inside his mind, something dark was starting to grow. And done. This was the prologue of Sword of Power. I'm not quite sure if to put this in the crossover category quite yet, because the only elements of DMC are going to be Naruto with a Virgil-like personality, Yamato and the Dark Slayer style, and the Bleach element will appear in the future. Also, Yamato won't speak again until the Chunin exams. And that's all. Leave your review telling me if you see potential in this story. PM me for any doubt or suggestion. Follow and favorite the story and me. Till next time, Roy D. Harper. In the next chapter, who is there? I think that cough you need some help. Where did you find that sword? Maybe a new style might cough help you. I'll call it the Dark Slayer style. Next chapter, Help to Create. Help to Create. Chapter 1. I'm back. Welcome everybody to the first chapter of Sword of Power. In this one, we'll see Naruto interact with some members of his family and he will get a teacher. If you read the final part of the last chapter, you probably already know who he is. With that said, let's go to the story. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Chapter 1, Help to Create. Hayate Gecko had seen a lot of things in his shinobi career. Some of them are a war and the attack of a demon fox to his village. He was curious when he saw a kid trying to access his chakra for 30 minutes with no success. After that time, it seemed that the kid got frustrated and went to the waterfall that seemingly had a cave. Thinking that there was nothing else to see, he left. He went to a bar to hang out with his friends, train a little with Yugao and then flirt a little with her. After Yugao left to her house, he decided to go back to the training field to see if the kid was still there trying to unlock his chakra or if he went back home. If he is not wrong, 2 hours had passed since he left. When he arrived, he saw that the kid was not trying to unlock his chakra, but instead he was trying to complete the tree climbing exercise. And he wasn't doing a bad job. He could give at least 10 steps, he counted them, without falling or get shooed away. Another thing that called his attention was that the kid was holding some katana in his left hand. So, he stayed there watching as the kid sprinted towards the tree, give his 10 or 15 steps, before he fell. After 20 minutes of that, he decided to make his presence known. His plan was to go by behind and surprise the kid, giving him a pointer on the exercise or telling him that it was kind of hard exercise for someone that young. He didn't expect that there was so much pollen in the bush he was hiding, making his allergy kick up, and as a result he coughed. He saw that the kid, that was in the ground, stiffened up, unsheathed the sword and turned around scanning the area with his eyes. Here Hayate noted 2 more things. The first was that the kid seemed to have no experience with a katana. He was holding it in a sloppy manner, and it also looked that he wasn't used to the weight of the weapon. The other was in his eyes. When he saw him earlier on the day, he was ocean blue eyes. Now, while his eyes were still blue, they held a different tone to it. Like a blue steel color. Who is there? It wasn't a question. The kid already knew he was there. Smiling to himself, he decided to answer. It seems that you cough caught me. Don't mind me, I was just cough watching. Please continue. The kid nodded as he sheathed his katana. He probably saw his headband and knew he wasn't going to do him any harm. Without another word, he turned around and started to walk on climbing the tree one more time. Hayate watched in silence as the kid tried, failed, and for some reason, he talked alone. It seems that I might need a little more of chakra to stick myself to the tree. But not too much or it will repel me. I must need to find a balance to stay stick to the Sir-dash. Kid. Not to sound cough rude, but with who cough are you talking to? Hayate asked, seeing the kid talk. Maybe he had an imaginary friend? The kid turned and gave him a look like asking him if he was stupid. After some silence, he simply asked, Do you see someone else here besides you and me? No. Hayate answered and the kid nodded. Exactly. I was talking to myself. Now, if you excuse me, both of us have things to do. What exactly do I have to do? Hayate asked him. Honestly, the kid confused him. I have to train my chakra while you need to go and see a doctor because it's clearly that you're sick. Hayate's sweat dropped at the kid deadpan answer. Who would say that a kid would know that much words? Well, I think that cough you need some help, he said, smiling as was taken back when the kid stopped on his tracks and glared at him. I don't need your charity. The kid spat and Hayate smiled. It isn't cough charity to help raise cough the future generation of cough shinobi. He explained and the kid looked at the katana he was holding, like if waiting that the katana was going to tell him the answer. Will you teach me how to use Yamato? The kid asked him, still looking at the weapon. Yamato? Hayate asked and the kid looked at him and gave him a firm nod. That's the name of this katana. Will you answer the question? Hayate smiled at the kid and nodded. I don't see the problem. Cough after all. I am the best cough swordsman in the cough village, he said proudly. The kid raised an eyebrow telling him he doesn't believe him. What with that cough look? You don't cough believe me? Is that you seem about to die at any given second. His passive answer makes him sweat drop one more time. Well, believe it or not cough I am. I can teach you how to wield Yamato like a cough professional. What do you cough say? One more time he looked at the sword and to sum up his confusion he started to talk with it. It is true that I don't know how to wield you yet, so the best option I have is to let this man train me, but I must be careful if he chokes with his coughing and to make sure that he sleeps well. His bags under his eyes says that he doesn't and dash. Kid, I'm still here. I can listen to cough you. So, do you cough take my offer? Hayate asked and the kid looked at him one more time. I will. My name is Naruto Namikaze, by the way. Hayate widened his eyes at the name. Namikaze? Like Minato Namikaze? I see the look in your face. Please, don't treat me in a special way by my name. Treat me like you would treat any other student. Naruto said to him, taking him out of his shock. Hayate shook his head and gave him a soft smile. I never dream of cough of it. Naruto nodded. So, in what do I start, Hayate-sensei? Hayate smiled at being called sensei. It was the first time that someone called him like that. Yugao used to call him senpai, not sensei. In your cough chakra control. Tomorrow we're gonna cough start your katana training. Naruto nodded and walked back to the tree, but Hayate stopped him by placing his hand on his shoulder. We're also cough going to work on something easier. Like? Naruto asked him and Hayate picked up a leaf from the ground. Have you heard the leaf balance exercise? Naruto shook his head and Hayate's sweat dropped one more time. How do you know the tree climbing exercise but not the leaf balancing? I looked for advanced chakra control. Naruto simply said and Hayate sighed. Kids these days. Anyway, the idea of this exercise is to keep the leaf stuck to your forehead. Cough like this. He removed his headband and put the leaf on his forehead and it stayed there. Now cough you try. Naruto nodded as he picks up a leaf, got into lotus position, placed Yamato on his lap and sattered to focus. Hayate smiled at his new pupil. Okay. I'll go search cough for someone. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Naruto nodded and Hayate shunshin away. Yugao apartment. So, you need my help to train someone? A kid. Yugao Yuzuki asked Hayate that nodded as he coughed. That's right, Yugao-chan. I see a lot of potential in him. And I have the feeling that his parents aren't going to help. Yugao raised a confused brow. Why? I don't no. It is just a feeling. I'll ask him later. But, will you help me? Yugao smiled and nodded sure. When does his training start? Hayate covered a cough before answering tomorrow. Show up around 10 a.m. Now I need to see how he is doing. Hayate said as he shunshin back to the training field. Naruto was. Hey, you forgot to tell me his name. Yugao screamed as she then huffed and got into her apartment. Training field. When Hayate arrived, he got another surprise. Naruto had not only 1 leaf on his forehead, but 5, and they were all spinning. Well, this is impressive. Hayate said, and Naruto opened an eye before closing it again. It's you. Did you found who you were looking for? Hayate nodded. I did. Well, ready to try another exercise? He asked, and Naruto nodded as the leaves fell from his forehead. Great. It's pretty much the same, but instead of a leaf you will use a stone. Naruto nodded and grabbed a rock and hold it against his forehead. Hayate turned around for a second when Naruto's voice called, Done. He turned around to see Naruto with his eyes closed and the stone stuck to his forehead. Hayate blinked a little to see if it was true. When he confirmed it, he smiled. Good work, Naruto. Now, I think we can pass to the tree climbing exercise. Naruto nodded with a serious expression as he got into work. Several hours later, Naruto didn't know what hour was when he arrived home. He only knew he was tired. More tired than he could remember. He opened the door that was unlocked. From what he heard, his parents put seals on the door to let in the people that lived here or trusted ones. Parents. Why that word to refer to them sounded so filthy? He always called them like that. Father, mother. But he never gave too much thought on it. He shook his head and opened the door and saw that in the couch was Momo, sleeping with a blanket covering her. Momo had a bob haircut and was a redhead. She had 3 whiskers marks in each of her cheeks. She had ocean blue eyes and have a tan skin. Naruto stared at her for a while, before poking his forehead, waking her up. Ow, who did this? She said, rubbing her eyes sleepy, and then a big grin was formed on her face when she spotted her brother. Naru. Shoo. You're too loud. Naruto said, and she rubbed the back of her head sheepishly. Heh. Sorry. Where were you today? She asked, and Naruto raised a brow. How did you know I was out in the first place? Wheeleel. I checked your room, she said, giving a big grin with her eyes closed while he narrowed his. The same room I told you not go in? He asked, and she scratched the back of her head. Hee. Maybe. Naruto sighed and ruffled his sister's hair that pouted. I'm going to sleep. And you should too. Momo nodded, and then she noticed what her brother was carrying. Where did you find that sword? She asked, pointing to Yamato. Naruto looked at it before glaring at his sister. It isn't just a sword. It is Yamato, Naruto said, and Momo nodded. Okay. Where did you found it? In a cave. That was covered by a waterfall, Naruto said, and Momo nodded with a big grin. Okay. Night. She then ran to her room. Naruto sighed, and he went upstairs to his own room and went to sleep. And without noticing, he went to sleep with Yamato by his side. Next morning, Naruto got dressed rather quickly. He grabbed Yamato and went downstairs. He ate a toast and was going out when his other sister cut him. Hey Naruto, Liz said. Liz has blonde hair tied into a ponytail and purple eyes. Her skin was lighter than the one of his or Momo's. Hello Liz, Naruto said, and was about to go through the door when his sister spoke again. I didn't know that you dyed your hair, she pointed out, and Naruto gave her a questioning look. I haven't. Liz smirked. Then why is there some silver in your hair? Naruto unsheathed Yamato a little bit to see his reflection, and indeed, a little part of his hair was of a silver color. And not only that, his skin was a lot lighter now. I didn't notice. That you are whiter now? Well, I just noticed that you have a katana. Maybe a little time of brother time would help us, Liz said with a sisterly smile, and Naruto nodded. Perhaps, but not today. We both got training, Naruto said, and this time he managed to leave the house. Hey, wanna train with us? She screamed, but his brother was lost in the crowd. Why did he seem different? Training field. Naruto was waiting, seated in lotus position, with Yamato on his lap waiting for his new sensei to arrive. After some time, he listened to some coughing getting closer. Sensei, Naruto said, still with his eyes closed, and he heard some chuckles. Good senses, Naruto. He then noticed Naruto's appearance change. Did you do cough change your style? Naruto shook his head. No. I woke up like this. Can we start our training? Then he noted at the woman next to him. Who is she? The woman smiled kindly. My name is Yugao Yuzuki. Nice to meet you, Naruto-kun. Naruto nodded. Why are you here exactly? He asked, and Yugao kept smiling. Well, Hayate asked me to help in your training. So here I am. Very well. Is it Yugao-sensei then? He asked, and Yugao shook her head. No. You can call me Yugao-ne-chan. Hayate coughed at that, and Naruto gave her a look. Aren't you too old to be called Ne-chan? Yugao eyebrow twitched. Why you? Okay. Let's calm down. Why don't we start by founding a style that suits you? Hayate interfered, and Yugao calmed down, and Naruto nodded. Hayate smiled. Great. So, I was thinking on dash. Yamato needs a quick and precise style. Naruto cut Hayate that looked at him with a raised brow. How do you know that? Yugao asked, just as confused as Hayate. I just do, was Naruto's simple answer that made two shinobi sweat drop. Well, I at least don't know one like that, Yugao said, and Hayate got an idea. Maybe a new style might help you. A new style? Yugao asked Hayate, and he nodded. Each person is different, and not all the swords are the same. Maybe he needs something original. Naruto looked at Yamato. While it is quick, I'm gonna be fine, but it also needs to be precise to not cut air. The idea is to cut the objective, otherwise what is the point? Is he okay? Yugao asked Hayate that coughed. He kinds of do this. After a short conversation with himself, he looked at them. It is fine by me. Hayate smiled. Great. Do you mind giving me the sword for a minute? To check its way. Naruto looked hesitant on giving him Yamato, but something tell him to do it. That everything will be fine. So, with hesitation, he handed the katana to Hayate. When Hayate's hand made contact with the handle of Yamato, his eyes widened. The evil, the malice, the hate. He felt it all. It was like the Kyuubi attack all over again. He let off the sword and took a step back while taking deep breaths. Hayate, are you okay? Yugao questioned as another attack of cough invaded Hayate. I think that I am. Naruto, what was that? He asked to the boy that looked at Yamato before shrugging. It seems that it doesn't like you, was the simple answer. Hayate nodded. I see. Well, let's get started. But before, as this is going to be your own personal style, why don't you name it? Naruto looked at Yamato for one exact minute before nodding his head and turning to the shinobi. I'll call it the Dark Slayer style. Yugao nodded. Then it is decided. Then your training begins now. Naruto nodded as he walked to a training log that was in the field, while Yugao whispered to Hayate. What happened before? I don't know. Felt like the Kyuubi chakra. There's something off about that sword, and it is messing with the kid. Hayate answered, and Yugao nodded. What exactly is Yamato? And done. This was the first chapter of Sword of Power. I choose Hayate as the main sensei because I like the character and I don't see him a lot as Naruto's sensei. Here, we also saw how Yamato is influencing Naruto mentally and physically. There is one more sensei I want to introduce, and it will be in the next chapter. And that's all. Leave your review that it is important to me. PM me for any doubt or suggestion. Follow and favorite the story. Till next time. Roy D. Harper. In the next chapter. Your taijutsu sucks. Why can't Naru train with us? Dynamic entrance. Your cough improving. He is nothing. Next chapter. The Handsome Beast and Nothingness. The Handsome Beast and Nothing. Chapter 2. I'm back. Welcome everybody to the second chapter of Sword of Power. The support that this story is receiving is simple amazing. and that motivated me to make 3 chapters in a row. And about the pairing, I read a review and a PM asking me if this could be a Yu-Gi-Oh! Naruto story. The answer is no. Why? I don't like that pairing if Naruto is way younger than Yu-Gi-Oh! My idea of the pairing is an older Hanabix Naruto's fem haku. If you read other of my stories, you know I like love triangles or harem. Besides, there is a twist in the older Hanabi part. Now that all is said and done, let's go to the story. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Chapter 2. The Handsome Beast and Nothingness. 1 month had passed since Hayate and Yu-Gi-Oh! Training began, and it had gone better than expected. Naruto had shown natural talent for the use of Yamato. The first day, he learned what kind of kata would be needed for this style. The next they try on Naruto using a bokken to learn how to fight, but he refused with all his might. For some reason, he didn't want to let go of Yamato. So, at the end he learned to fight with katana with a real sword since the beginning. He learned quick and learned good. After 2 days of learning the most basic stances and fight styles, it was time to develop the Dark Slayer style. Took 2 weeks to define the style. The style is a variation of the Yado. It consists in taking the sword out of the scabbard in a fast way, make the cut, and sheathed it again. But sometimes it was off. How off? Let me explain. Flashback. Okay Naruto, now that you got the basics down, it is time to practice your style. Hayate said to Naruto that nodded. Naruto-kun, you will have to cut this bottle with what we explained to you would be ideal the Dark Slayer style. Yu-Gi-Oh! Said, and Naruto turned to her to see that next to her was a log and on top of it was a small bottle of water. So I just have to cut that? It should be easy. Naruto said, getting closer to the log. Once he was in front of it, he got in the stance of the Dark Slayer style. It was a slight crouch stance, holding the scabbard of Yamato with his left hand, while holding the handle with his right. He closed his eyes to focus. Without noticing, he put a little bit of chakra in the sword. He opened his eyes and quickly he made 2 slashes. He twirled Yamato on top of him before slowly shedding it again. But the bottle seemed to be intact. Naruto-kun. The bottle is still dash. Click. Was the sound when the sword got fully sheathed. And in that instant both the bottle and the log were cut in 2 for the surprise and wonder of the shinobi watching. Naruto turned to his mentors. Was it good enough for you? Flashback ends. Since that day, both Hayate and Yu-Gi-Oh! Were trying to find more information on the sword. They knew that it wasn't a normal sword by any means, and they have some proof about it. First, Naruto change of appearance. When Hayate met Naruto, he had tan skin, ocean blue eyes, and spiky yellow hair. Now, he has a light skin, colder eyes that had a steel-like tone, and his hair is now straight and half of it is of a silver color. Second, Naruto conversation with himself. The kid talked to himself. Or to the sword. But anyway, it isn't normal for anyone to do that. Some conversation were short or others could last 10 minutes. He did that while training, walking, or even eating. Third, Naruto is maybe too protective of Yamato. At his age is normal to protective for his belongings. But Naruto took it to another level. When he meditates, he has Yamato on his lap. When he is practicing shurikenjutsu, he has Yamato being held in his other hand. When he is eating, Yamato is on his lap. Yu-Gi-Oh! That had turned watching over the Hokage home one night, saw that Naruto was sleeping with Yamato next to him. And finally, the evil of the sword. Hayate could still remember clearly when he tried to grab the sword and that damn thing gave him a taste of hell. Like if the same devil decided to punish him. They are really tempted to ask Inoichi Yamanaka a psychiatric evaluation for Naruto. The only reason that they haven't is because when they say their idea to Naruto, he refused. And not in a polite way. Apparently, he thinks that if he tells something to someone about his progress or even about Yamato, he thinks that they will interfere in his training. That's another thing, his distrust. He trusts and seems to like no one. Like if the world was his enemy. Hell, it seems that he still doesn't trust Hayate or Yu-Gi-Oh! Completely. Opening him up to them is part of their objectives. But for now, they need to improve their taijutsu. The youthful dojo. So, you need my help? Guy asked to Hayate and Yu-Gi-Oh! That nodded. That's right. I'll do it myself, but your taijutsu sucks. Yugao teased him and Hyatt coughed. Guy nodded before putting his nice guy stance and giving a toothy smile. YOSH. Don't worry, friends. I will fan young Naruto's flames of youth and make him into a master of taijutsu. If I fail my task, I will make 2,000 push-ups for the rest of the year, he exclaimed while crying youthful tears. Hyatt and Yugao's sweat dropped at the sight of the green spandex wearing man crying in front of them. Hyatt coughed to grab his attention, and because there was too much dust inside the dojo. Guy, do you think you could start tomorrow? Guy nodded as he gave him the thumbs up. Indeed I can. The sooner his flames of youth are shining all across Konoha, the better. Then the weird man ran upstairs to do God knows what, and Hyatt and Yugao left the small dojo. Hey, since when does Guy have a dojo? Yuageo asked Hyatt that coughed. He bought it at the cough start of this year. From what I heard, he got 0 students for the moment. 0? Yugao asked incredulously. Who in their right mind would turn down an offer to train with Konoha's best taijutsu master? Yeah, cough 0. From what I heard, parents cough are afraid their kids grab his traditions. Hyatt explained and Yugao nodded. That makes sense. Shido. Next day, Namake's compound. Naruto was watching himself in the mirror. He looked how much he had changed since finding Yamato. He put water on his hand and passed it through his bicolored hair, slicking it back. It was better to have it tidy than to have it messy and covering his eyes. He got clothed in the same gray clothes he was wearing for the last days and went downstairs to make something to eat. He was going to make a toast like any other morning, when a voice from behind called him. Naru-chan? What are you doing up so early? He let out an annoyed sigh. He turned around to see his mother, Kushina Namake's, formerly known as Uzumaki. Mother, he simply said before going back to his toast. What are you doing? She asked him, and Naruto still didn't look at her. Food. Well, I was planning on making breakfast before training your siblings. He clicked his tongue. Why don't you eat with us? She offered as Naruto ate his toast quickly. I can't and I don't want to. We're both busy, he said before leaving. Kushina frowned at his son's words. Naruto Namake's, that isn't a way to speak to your mother. Kushina scolded, but Naruto ignored her. I'll keep that in mind. Kushina glared at her son back before noticing the notable changes in his body and the katana he was carrying. What happened to your hair, skin, and since when do you have a sword? She questioned, and Naruto started to walk to the door. For the first 2 questions, I don't know. And for your last one, in the last 1 month or so. Goodbye, Naruto said before leaving the house, leaving a frowning Kushina. Moo, I'm hungry. Momo screamed as she ran to hug her mother. Hey Momo-chan, Kushina said, hugging her daughter back. Hey, had you seen Naru? Momo asked her, and Kushina frowned. He just left the house. Why? Momo pouted. I wanted him to train with us today. Hey, why can't Naru train with us? Well, you already know that. He doesn't have any Kyuubi chakra in him. You 3 needs more help. And besides, he is a nobody, Katsuki said, getting downstairs. Katsuki had spiky red hair and red eyes, probably due to the Kyuubi chakra. He had a tan skin, but lighter than Minato or Momo. Kat, don't say that. Momo scolded, and Katsuki grinned. What? The truth? He said, and those 2 started to argue. Kushina sighed. Her oldest son became colder from one day to another. Maybe he isn't interested in becoming shinobi after all. He never asked them for help as far as she can remember. Training field. Hello, Hyatt-sensei, Yugao. Naruto greeted them as he heard them coming closer. He was seated in the lotus position with his eyes closed. Naruto-kun, I already told you. It is Yugao-ne-chan, she said, smiling, and Naruto gave her a look. I read once that it is a medical condition when people wants to show they are younger than what they are. Naruto deadpanned with one eye open while Yugao eyebrow twitched. You little brat. Well, Naruto, today we are going to work on your taijutsu, Hyatt said, and Naruto raised a brow. Taijutsu? Why would I need it? I'm planning on becoming a swordsman. Maybe. But what if you lost Yamato during a fight? Hayate asked, and Naruto's grip on the katana tightened. I won't lose Yamato. I can't lose Yamato. If I lose Yamato, I'm lost. Without Yamato, I can't fight. Without Yamato, I'm dead. Without Dash.
Naruto-kun, calm down.
You're hyperventilating, Yugao said, and Naruto got out of his stupor and nodded. Sorry. It's cough okay. Now, if that comes to happen, you need to fight with your body. That's why we cough got you the best taijutsu instructor in the village. Hayate said, smiling softly. Thanks. I hope to learn a lot from him. Naruto said, and Hayate chuckled nervously, making Naruto raise a brow. Well, just remember, only learn taijutsu from him. Cough, do not take any other thing he offers you. Especially clothes. Yugao said, and Naruto was confused. What nonsense are you two talking about? Then, at the distance, a cloud of smoke was seen. Dynamic entrance, said a man with a bowl haircut, in a green spandex, with orange leg warmers, gigantic eyebrows, and a jounin flak jacket. He was wearing his headband around his waist, and it was of a red color. Naruto stared at the man with an unreadable look. The weird man turned to him. I am guessing you are young Naruto-kun. I am your new taijutsu instructor, the handsome beast of Konoha, Mato Guy. Guy introduced himself, giving Naruto the thumbs up and a toothy smile. And Naruto swears he saw his teeth shining. Naruto turned to Hayate. Is this your way of making a joke? He deadpanned, and Hayate coughed. Well, Yugao and I need to cough go. Good luck. With that, Yugao and Hayate shunshin out of there. Naruto was glaring at the spot where his sensei was. With a sigh, he turned to the green spandex wearing man that kept smiling. So what should we do first? A spar. Guy shook his head. None of that yet. First, we need to fan our flames of youth. To do that, we're going to do 200 laps across our great village. Naruto eyes widen at that. 2 to 200? Guy clenched his fists at that. You're right, Naruto-kun. That won't be enough. Let's make 250. I'm actually fine with 200. Naruto said, and Guy shook his head. Don't you want your flames of youth shine even in the darkest night? I actually don't. Then it is decided. We're going to do 300 laps across Konoha in 1 hour. And we fail, we will do 100 push-ups in 5 minutes. Let's go. After that, Guy left a cloud of smoke as he started his ran. Naruto sighed as he followed him, making ways of how to murder his sensei. But one part of his mind whispered that this will help him in our goal. Sarutobi compound. So, Hayate-kun, Yugao-chan. In what do I own the visit? Hiruzen Sarutobi asked. Yugao and Hayate bowed at the former Hokage and one of the village elders. Sandaime-sama, we came to talk cough about Naruto Namikaze. Hayate said, and Hiruzen raised a brow. He only met a child when he was an infant. Since then, nothing about him. What's wrong with him? Nothing. It is more cough about his sword. Hayate said, and that confused even more the Sandaime. Sword. Sandaime-sama? Yugao talked now. Have you heard of a katana called Yamato? Hiruzen frowned as he nodded. I had. Hashirama-sensei told me a story about it. The sword of hate, some called it. The weapon of the devil, others. And some even called it the key of hell. What's up with those names? Yugao asked, and Hiruzen sighed as he took a seat. Not much is known of that weapon, besides that its wielders become amazing warriors. But their heart is going to be consumed by hate. I don't understand. Hayate said, and Hiruzen took out his pipe. Do you know that when a Jinchuriki loses control over his Biju, is because they let the Biju control them? They nodded. The only and best way to control completely a demon like that, it is with love. The same case happens with Yamato. But Yamato is more manipulative. It makes promises of what the wielder wants. Love, respect, women, money, you name it. But at the end, it will make the wielder walk a dark road. Hiruzen said grimly, and Yugao widened her eyes. We need to take that demon's sword then. Hiruzen shook his head. If only that was so easy, Yugao-chan. The sword will stay with the one the sword chooses. It will repel any other that isn't its chosen one. Hayate nodded, remembering how it was when he touched the sword. So, to fight hate, we need love. he stated, and the Sandaime nodded. That's right. The sword chooses people with potential and talent, but that are overlooked or neglected in some sort of way. Hiruzen said, ready to talk with Minato about this topic. So, what do you suggest? Yugao asked, and the old man smiled kindly at her. Help him create bonds. Teach him about the will of fire. Do not only help him train, but also praise him, reward him. I know that he will appreciate it. Hayate and Yugao both bowed with a smile. We will. Thank you. Then they left. Hiruzen nodded and then turned serious. For Yamato to choose someone, a kid, he or she must have inside a lot of remorse or hate. Maybe desperation. With a sigh, he decided to let this in the hand of his shinobi. If they fail, he will have a nice talk with Minato. Training field. Several hours later. YOSH. Naruto-kun. Do you feel your flames of youth getting stronger? I wish I could feel some part of my body. Naruto breathed out. He was laying on the ground breathing hardly. I failed my mission on fanning your flames. I will do now dash. Guy, I don't think cough that you need to do that. Hayate said, appearing alone, and Naruto glared at him. Well, if that is the case, I'll leave. Goodbye, Naruto-kun. See you tomorrow. After that, he left running. Naruto sat down with a look of disbelief. Tomorrow. Hayate chuckled as he sat down next to his student. Relax. It seems that your cough improving. Naruto nodded with the phantom of a smile. Felt nice to be praised for the first time. Thanks. I guess it is thanks to you and Yugao-san. Hayate chuckled as he coughed, and the fact that you are a natural with this. Maybe my student is the new Kakashi Hatake or Itachi Uchiha. Naruto hummed before standing up. So, we're going to continue my training? Hayate shook his head. I was actually planning on taking you to lunch. What cough do you say? Naruto looked at him with a wary look. What's the trick? Hayate chuckled. There is no trick. What's so cough weird of a teacher wanting to reward his student? I don't want any rewards. I want to get stronger. Naruto screamed, and Hayate frowned before smiling. Give it a chance. You might as cough well like it. He offered, and Naruto looked at Yamato. I'm not sure what his intentions are right now. Maybe he is trying to be nice. Maybe he is trying to get rid of me. But I'm hungry, so I might just take his offer. Hayate's sweat dropped at the conversation in front of him. So will you come? Naruto looked at him and nodded. Then they both left where Yugao had a table waiting for them. Later, Naruto was walking home more earlier than usual. It was still late, but not as usual. He opened the door and saw that his family was having dinner. They seemed not to hear him enter. He sighed. He really wants to avoid them right now. He would lie if he says that he is in a bad mood. He actually enjoyed hanging with Yugao and Hayate out of training. Might as well do it more often. There was a door between the dining room and the stairs. He went silently to the stairs when he felt a pair of arms around his waist. He already knew who it was, and quickly turned around and covered her mouth. Momo, don't scream. Whisper. Naruto whispered to his little sister that nodded. Naruto removed her hand from her mouth and she grinned. Naru, where were you? Naruto though on giving her a quick and maybe snappy answer. But he thought better. Training. Momo face brightened. Really? Are you strong? Are you good? Are you dash? Momo, I'm tired. I'll answer all that to you tomorrow, he said, and Momo nodded. Hey Naru. Tomorrow can you have breakfast with us? Momo suddenly asked, and Naruto considered in turning her down. But as said before, his mood is better than ever. Fine. But only the two of us. Wake up early and meet me in the kitchen. Okay? Okay. Love you, Momo said before running back with the rest of the family. He sighed and went to his room. 2 a.m. Naruto woke up early. He looked at the clock that was next to his bed and saw that it was 2 in the morning. He stood up and decided to go to eat something. Maybe a little of food in his stomach might help him. He grabbed Yamato and went downstairs. So, what was so important you needed to tell us, Jiraiya-sensei? Naruto stopped in middle of the stairs as he heard his father's voice. Well, kid, it is about a prophecy of the toads. That was the voice of the pervert of Jiraiya. Prophecy. His mother voice asked now. About the chosen child. The kid of the prophecy. The one that will either save the world or destroy it. And I believe it is either Katsuki, Liz, or Momo. Jiraiya said. And no Naruto? Again his mother voice. Naruto gripped tighter and narrowed his eyes. He wanted to walk and see, but he didn't want to be found. Look, while the kid might have some potential, he doesn't have demon chakra in him. He isn't as strong as the other three. Compared to them, he is nothing. Jiraiya said, and Naruto's eyes narrowed even more. He waited to see if his parents said something against the idea of the perverted man. But nothing. Not even a but. Frustrated and disgusted with his parents. He went to his room and jumped through the window. He needs more training to do. He needs to prove them wrong. And done. This was chapter 2 of Sword of Power. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, Naruto will have moods changes across the story. It could be little mood changes like happy to annoyed, or big like loving his sister to hating her. That kind of changes. A little bit of the explanation of Yamato was here also. It isn't 100% based of the DMC games. Okay. And the explanation of how Minato sealed the Kyuubi will come in the future. And that's all. Remember to leave your review that it is important to me. PM me for any doubt or suggestion. Follow and favorite the story and me. Till next time. Roy D. Harper. In the next chapter, you need cough or rest. Do you mind giving me that swords of yours? I am not a kid who needs a hug. Welcome Namikaze's family. I like your hair. Happy birthday. Next chapter. A caged bird looking to fly. A caged bird looking to fly. Chapter 3. I'm back. Welcome everybody to the third chapter, Sword of Power. In this one is where Naruto meets the girl of the FIC Hanabi Hyuga. Here Hanabi will be the twin sister of Hinata, and I'll change a little bit the personality Hinata. Also, I decided the pairing. It is older Hanabik's Naruto's harem. The harem will be Hinata, Tayuya, Femhaku, Tamari. There is a good reason for her. If you want to add someone or change one, leave it on the reviews. Now that all is said and done, let's go to the story. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Chapter 3. A caged bird looking to fly. Hey 8. Yes, Yugao-chan? What exactly happened here? Yugao asked, seeing that many of the trees in the training field were cut in half cleanly. Hey 8 sighed, feeling a headache coming. Naruto. Let's go cough and find him. Yugao nodded, unsure of what her friend said. Naruto didn't have that much practice to cut a forest like this. But, knowing a little bit about Yamato, things can be different. After getting inside the forest, they saw more trees cut in half, and then they started to listen the sound of metal hitting wood. Walking towards the sound, they saw Naruto hitting a tree with Yamato, leaving small cuts but nothing too deep. His hair is even more silver now, with only one small fraction of it remaining in its blonde natural color. He seemed tired. Naruto was going to swing one more time his blade when Hey8 grabbed his wrist, stopping him, and Naruto turned to him and glared at him. Why you stop me? Naruto demanded, but Hey8 remained impassive. You need cough or rest. Hey8 said sternly, and Naruto shook his hand off Hey8's grip and glared at him with all his might. I'll rest when I'm dead. For now, I need to become stronger. Naruto answered back, and Hey8 noticed the tiredness in his eyes. You might die cough if you don't rest. Did you stay cough here all night? So what if I did? Naruto said back, and Hey8 sighed, combined with a cough. Today we're going to cough skip training. It is clearly that cough aren't in any condition of any physical activity. Hey8 said in a stern and serious tone. But nothing. Naruto-kun, you're tired. Go home for today. Tomorrow we will train. Yugao said, and Naruto let out an irritated sigh. Fine. I'll come tomorrow. I'm going to sleep. Naruto said and walked back home, leaving two worried shinobi on the training field. I'm going to cough, call Inoichi. Hey8 said, and Yugao saw herself nodding her head, worried for the former blonde. Namikaze's compound. Naru, I was waiting for you. What were you doing outside? Momo questioned as she saw her older brother walk into the house. Just as he told her yesterday, she woke up early to have breakfast, only the two of them. I was busy. Now I'm going to sleep, Naruto said, trying to pass Momo, but the girl got in front of him, arms crossed and pouting. Naruto sighed as he passed a hand through his now silver hair. Fine, let's do this quickly. I'm tired. Momo cheered as she rushed to the table and where 2 plates of scrambled eggs in each one. They say and ate. Momo was talking about something and Naruto listened to some parts. When he was done, he went to his room and sleep. When he woke up, he felt new. All the tiredness and soreness of the previous night of training was gone. He stood up and went downstairs, decided to go around the village due to him not having any training to do. He walked downstairs and saw that Jiraiya was training his siblings, showing them the tree walking exercise, while Kushina was watching them with a smile. Naruto stared at the scene with a scowl before turning around, decided to continue with what he had in mind. What he didn't saw was Akatsuki watching him. Hey, pervy sage. I want a sword. Jiraiya hummed with a smirk. Oh really? Well, I bet that you will be great at that. We just need to find a sword and a teacher, but that should be Dash. I want that one, Akatsuki said, pointing to Yamato as Naruto was walking towards the door. But that's Naruto's, Liz said, and Jiraiya shrugged. I bet that the kid wouldn't mind. I'll go ask him right now, Jiraiya said as he walked into the house after Naruto. Hey kid, Jiraiya said with a smile as Naruto was about to grab the handle. Naruto looked at him over his shoulder. Yes. Jiraiya smiled and pointed to Yamato. Do you mind giving me that sword of yours? Naruto raised a brow and turned around. He looked behind Jiraiya and saw that in the garden, Akatsuki was with his arms crossed and smirking arrogantly, looking at the scene. Naruto looked back at Jiraiya that kept smiling at him, waiting for an answer. Naruto just looked at him with a blank expression. That's weird. What's weird? Jiraiya asked, confused. That somehow Akatsuki lost even more brain cells in a short amount of time. Now he needs to send his dog to talk and ask for other people's possessions. And the problem is that the dog is even more stupid than the owner, Naruto said with a blank expression and smirked a little, seeing Jiraiya's shock face that then turned to one of anger. Look, this is something serious. I don't have time for you to go playing around with a sword. Akatsuki have the potential of becoming something. So, he needs the best tools to do that. He started to leak a little of Ki to intimidate Naruto. Not enough to call any attention, but enough to scare a little kid. So, we can do this the good way. Or we can go for the bad off. He was cut short when Naruto used Yamato to hit Jiraiya on his private parts, making him fall of the surprise attack. Never try to separate Yamato from me, you old fart, Naruto warned as he then turned around with a different plan on his head. He left the house as Jiraiya stood up with a big pain in his testicular area and feeling a little dizzy, wondering what's wrong with the kid. Yamanaka Flower Shop. So, you want to have Naruto on a psychological evaluation? Inoichi Yamanaka asked Hayate and Yugao that nodded. If it isn't a problem, sir, Yugao said, and Inoichi shook his head. I'm afraid that there are some problems. First of all, I need the parents' authorization. Also, the kid is too young to go under that. And maybe he is just a serious kid. But Inoichi-san Hayate started, but Inoichi raised his hand to stop him. But I'm curious on Naruto. So, I'm gonna check him myself. Do you know where he might be now? He asked, and Yugao sighed. Knowing him, he probably is at training field 14. There is where we usually train. Inoichi nodded with a small smile. Then I'll be on my way. Training field 14. Naruto was in front of one of the many training posts that were located in the training field. He had his eyes closed and was holding Yamato with his right hand. A light breeze passed, and then he snapped his eyes open and moved the Yamato 3 times in the air, before twirling it a little and sheathing it again. Once the sword was again in its scabbard, the log was cut cleanly in 3. Naruto smirked, satisfied, when he listened a noise coming from the bushes. He turned around and saw a tall blonde man walking to him with a smile. That was impressive. But, is it needed the use of so much theatrics? The man asked, and Naruto frowned, feeling slightly offended by what he considered an insult to the Dark Slayer style. Yes, and who are you, by the way? Naruto said, and the man chuckled. My name is Inoichi, and I was passing by and I heard some sound. Curious. I came to see what it was. Inoichi explained and Naruto nodded. Good. As you can see, I'm training. Do you mind leaving? Inoichi didn't lose his smile and nodded. I understand. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Naruto-kun. I hope we meet again in the future, Inoichi said as he left. Naruto watched him go, before turning to his training. Later that day, Namake's compound. Naruto walked into his home feeling slightly tired. Not how he felt after he returned of the night of training. He was going to go upstairs when his father called him. Naruto, mind if we have a talk? Minato Namake's asked his eldest son. That looked at him with a blank expression. About? It is about you hitting your godfather, Minato said with a serious look and Naruto nodded. So? He wanted to take Yamato and tried to intimidate me with Ki. I think it was justified. Okay. I doubt that Jiraiya-sensei would actually try to use Ki on you. And what is Yamato? Minato asked him and Naruto lifted his sword. This is Yamato, and it is mine, Naruto said with narrowed eyes and Minato inspected the sword with his eyes. Since when you have it? Minato asked and then noticed his son new look. And what happened to your hair? I have Yamato since some time now, and my appearance is changing for reasons I don't know. Naruto answered and Minato nodded with a sigh. Fine. Remember that later we have to attend to a party at the Hyugas. Minato informed his son with a small smile and Naruto nodded. Fine. But I'm not going. Minato looked perplexed. Why you don't want to go? I have better things to do than to stay with stuck-up Hyugas. I'm not going, Naruto said and Minato narrowed his eyes. Naruto, you're going and it is final. They invited us all and it would be rude if you don't show up. Is that clear? Minato demanded and Naruto scoffed. As water, father. Hyuga compound. Welcome Namake's family. A Hyuga branch member said to the Namikazes and guided them inside where was celebrating the birthday of Hayashi Hyuga twin daughters, Hanabi and Hinata, that were born twins. But the party was more than that. It was also the celebration of Hinata as the new clan heir. Naruto was less than happy to go to the party. He in his life never had seen an Hyuga smile. Never. Not that he does it a lot, but he does it from time to time. They're too serious and too stuck with traditions. He had met Hinata once when Liz invited her over. She was the personification of a Hyuga. Katsuki, Liz and Momo went with the other kids, while Minato and Kushina went to greet their friends. Naruto just sat on a chair that was against the wall and closed his eyes, letting Yamato rest on his lap. He opened them again to see that there was a kid with a pineapple hairstyle next to him. He wasn't talking, he wasn't complaining, he wasn't playing. He was sleeping. Naruto eyed him from the corner of his eye before deciding that the kid was also dragged here against his will. Besides, if the kid was silent, there was no problem for him. They stayed there in silence and with their eyes closed for some good 10 minutes before the pineapple kid talked. You were also dragged here? Naruto opened an eye and looked at him. Yes, he simply said before closing it again. The kid nodded and went back to sleeping. Another 5 minutes passed. From what clan are you? I don't remember knowing anyone with silver hair. The kid asked and Naruto didn't even bother to open his eyes this time. I'm from the Namake's clan. My hair and skin are different due to reasons that I don't know. My name is Naruto, by the way. Shikamaru Nara. Shikamaru introduced himself and silence ran again. This is troublesome, Shikamaru said and Naruto opened an eye to see him. What is it? This party. It is too loud for my style. And besides, Chuji didn't came because he was sick. Shikamaru complained and Naruto nodded. I agree. I rather drink bleach than be in here, Naruto said and Shikamaru smirked. You know, you aren't that bad. Did I broke your expectations of a Namake's? Naruto asked him and the Nara nodded. Yeah, I expected you to be arrogant or loud or a smartass or really, really nice. So what am I? Shikamaru looked at him before yawning, likable. Naruto nodded as he closed his eyes. Thanks. You're not bad yourself. Shikamaru chuckled. Friends. Why not? Naruto shrugged and both new friends stayed in there in silence. Shikamaru probably fell asleep. After 20 minutes, Naruto let out an exasperated sigh. Bored of just being sit, he stood up and went to see the rest of the compound. Shikamaru was deep in sleep, so he didn't notice. Naruto walked around the huge halls of the Hyuga compound until he stumbles with what he guesses is the training field. He walked in, and there he saw a Hyuga girl, around his age, attacking with the jukin at a wood dummy. He watched from the shadows and hear the sound of crying. After watching her and not being found out yet, he guesses that she doesn't have the Byakugan yet. For more, a little voice in his head tells him to leave and go back to the chair. He decides to ignore it and go and see if the girl is okay. "Why are you crying?" he asked her, making her jump, and she turned around with clear tears on her eyes and cheeks. She wiped them off with the sleeve of her kimono before answering. "I am not crying," she said, and Naruto rolled his eyes. "Sure. Then let me change my question. Why are you making a fit?" That clearly annoyed more the girl. "You also came here to make fun out of me? If it's that, then please go away." Naruto sighed. He doesn't have experience talking. He usually just insults people. "Okay, I'm sorry. Let me ask again. Why are you training instead of being in the party or in your room or doing something?" The girl sighed. "Today is my last day before I have to do my duties." "Duties?" Naruto asked with a raised brow, and the girl pointed to the bandage covering her forehead. "I was just branded with the cage bird seal. I'm from the branch family now. My name is Hanbai Hyuga." "Hanabi? Wait, aren't you the daughter of Dash? Of Hayashi?" "Yes. But I refuse to see that man as my father," she exclaimed, rage evident in her eyes. Naruto sighed and sat against the wall. "Then how come this hatred? And why are you from the branch family now?" Hanabi sighed sadly before sitting next to him. "It's complicated. I was born 5 minutes after my sister. My mother didn't make it alive after our birth. Hayashi was really harsh on our training and raising, to make us good Hyugas. I could live with that, but some days ago everything changed. He said that because I was the younger sister, I would be branded the seal and Hinata was going to be the clan heir," she said as tears started to form around her eyes. Naruto stayed silent, letting her continue. "So there was one way to change positions. In a spar. And you lost," Naruto stated. "If she was wearing the seal was because of that." Hanabi nodded shakily as she didn't even give me a chance. "She destroyed me. I thought that she cared for me. Naruto was now in an awkward position. He never imagined to deal with something like this. He felt like talking to Yamato, but he also felt that it would be inappropriate. So, he probably gave the weirdest hug anybody could have given. At least, Hanabi took it well, because then she returned the hug and started to cry on his shoulder. After 5 minutes of that, she stopped and looked at Naruto while wiping her tears. "So, do you have any sad story to tell me? It would only be fair. I told you mine, so now it is your turn," she said with a small smile. Naruto nodded. "I guess. I'm the eldest of the Hokage children by 20 seconds. But what I gain in time, I lost I benefits. My siblings have in each one 3 tails of the Kyubi chakra. I have nothing. So I had less choices, less attention, no training, and little love from my parents. So I decided to become strong by my own means, to show everyone who I am, who Naruto Namake's Trulli is," he said, smiling at Yamato. Hanabi was looking full of admiration at Naruto. If he can do that, if he dreams of becoming someone, why can't she? She grinned as she stood up. "Then it is decided. We're going to become strong to show everyone who we are," she proclaimed as only Naruto listened to her. He smiled. "That's good. Hey, did you get anything for your birthday?" Hanabi lost her smile besides the seal. "No." Naruto nodded as he stood up. "Then I'll bring you something tomorrow." Hanabi blushed a little bit. "Why, you really don't have to. I mean, it would be nice and all, but I don't want to bother you." Naruto shook his head. "It wouldn't be a bother. Just a common courtesy. I'll come back tomorrow to give it to you." Hanabi stared at him as he walked away. She smiled as she screamed, "I like your hair, by the way." Naruto didn't answer, but he smiled to himself. She really was an interesting girl. Namake's compound. Liz. Naruto said to his sister that looked at him. Yes, Naruto? What would you give to a girl like a gift? The question caught her by surprise. What? Was her smart answer, and Naruto looked at her with a blank expression. What would you give to a girl for a gift? He said every word slowly, and Liz nodded before answering. What does she like? Naruto shrugged. Don't know. I just promised something. Not exactly what. Liz nodded. What about a flower? I'm a girl and I like those. Naruto nodded. Okay. Thank you and good night. Liz smirked. And why do you need a gift for a girl? Do you got yourself a girlfriend? Or is it a crush? She teased him, but Naruto kept walking to his room. That question doesn't even deserve an answer. Liz chuckled before going to sleep. Next day, training field. Hayate and Yugao arrived to the usual training field where they trained Naruto. And when they spotted their student meditating, they frowned. Now all his hair was silver. Naruto opened an eye and saw who they were. He stood up and walked to them. Hayate-sensei, can we skip today training? Naruto asked, to the surprise of the Jounins. Why? Hayate asked before coughing. I have other business. So, can I? Hayate smiled at him before nodding his head. Sure. Cough, be a kid for today. He joked, and Naruto nodded before turning to Yugao. Yugao-san, can you lend me money? Yugao I twitched. Why? If I can ask. Because I respect more Hayate-sensei than you. So, can you? Was Naruto deadpan answer. Yugao smirked. Well, unless you give me a good reason, my answer is no. Naruto looked at Yamato. I'm going to regret this. He then turned to Yugao. Can you lend me money, Yugane-chan? After saying that, he swears he saw her eyes shining. What happened next caught him off guard. Yugao lifted him with a hug and started to twirl him in the air. Yes, you finally recognized me as your Ne-chan, she exclaimed, and Naruto tried to break free from the woman's embrace, but with no avail. Let go of me, Naruto complained, but Yugao seemed to ignore him, due to her being summered on her happiness. Hayate chuckled. Yugao-chan, I think that Yukov needs to let him go. Yugao glared at Hayate but complied as she took some Ryo and handed it to Naruto. Here, it is a gift. She sawed, smiling what she considers her big sister smile. Naruto nodded. Thanks, Yugao-san. Then he left a Yugao that her smile, and I started to twitch. Hayate coughed. Yugao-chan. What? I think that he found it out how to manipulate you. Hayate joked as he coughed. Yugao let out a sigh. Hey, why do you think he needs the money? Hayate shrugged. Who knows? But cough, he is a better mood. Right? Yamanaka Flower Shop. Hello, Naruto-kun. In what can I help you? Inoichi greeted Naruto as he walked into the store. Naruto eyed the man warily. What are you doing here? Inoichi chuckled. I work here. I'm also the owner. But enough about me. What brings you here today? I need a flower. It needs to be pretty. Naruto said his standards, and Inoichi nodded with a smile. He walked to one of the stands and grabbed one yellow rose. This flower represents the friendship one has with another person in sad situations. Is this good for you? Naruto nodded and took the flower. Indeed. How much? Inoichi chuckled. This one is on the house. Now go. I would hate that you make that person wait because of me. Naruto smiled at the man. Thanks, Inoichi-san. Inoichi nodded and watched him go away. His attention turned to his sword, wondering why Hayate and Yugao were so worried about it. Maybe a little of research would help. Hyuga compound. You came, Hanabi said as she hugged Naruto that just stared at her with a smile. I promised it. Here. Naruto handed her the rose. Happy birthday. Hanabi stared at the flower with her pale eyes widen. Naruto raised a brow. Hey, I know it isn't much, but I don't have a lot of mo-. It's perfect. She smiled at him. I'm gonna put it on water right now. Then, do you think that we can go and hang out? Naruto nodded. Sure. I don't have anything to do. I'll wait here. Hanabi nodded as she rushed inside to save the flower. Naruto leaned against the entrance, next to one of the guards, and he saw him smiling. What? Naruto asked him, and the guard shared a look with his partner. Oh, nothing. just witnessing young love. The guard teased and Naruto clicked his tongue. "Shut up," he said as Hanabi rushed outside and next to him. "Okay, I'm done. Let's go," Hanabi said with a wide smile and Naruto nodded with a smaller smile. And done. This was chapter number 3 of Sword of Power. I hope you liked the interaction between Naruto and Hanabi. I really enjoyed making it. As you could see, here in my FIC, Hanabi and Hinata are twin sisters. Hinata is more Hyuga-like, and Hanabi is branded with the curse seal mark. And I think that is the important. And that's all. Leave your review that it is important for my motivation. PM me for any doubts or suggestions. Follow and favorite the story and me that it helps for my ego. Till next time, Roy D. Harper. In the next chapter, why are you with my sister? 5 minutes makes the difference between servant and master. I want you to watch him. If you lose, that sword is mine. I'm with you till the end. Next chapter, royalty and peasants. I need to say something. Okay, I think that I need to say this. No, don't worry. I won't be dropping any story or leaving FFN. No, this is about some of my issues. This isn't easy to say or write in this case, but my psychologist believes this is for the best. And because I feel more comfortable writing that talking this with people that I know, here I am, sharing this with you guys. First of all, why I started to write. As the ones that read A Change of Heart since it came out, you already know that I already have 1 year writing fix. Well, 1 year ago, some weeks before the first chapter of A Change of Heart came out, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. No shit. After that, I started to read DxD Fix and I got frustrated because the best ones that I found were not finished. Classic. So, determined to do a good story with an end, I uploaded the aforementioned story. And I'm not going to lie, I expected it to have 30 followers top. After that, more stories came, 5 Hearts, Bones, Frozen Time, etc. And I was getting better. But something's happened with my dad in school and in a small part-time job I had that made me fall into something that I am not proud of. If I can say, I am disappointed of myself. One day a friend gave me something that he told me that will help me. You probably already guessed, but I'll say it anyway. Me, insert real name here, it is too soon to tell you guys. I am a drug addict. That was harder to do than expected. Right now I am in rehab and because of that, I will put in hiatus all of my stories. This will last some time, but when I'll come back, it will be stronger and better. With more ideas for new and old stories. I read your reviews and I take them to heart. Believe me, big things are coming. And I guess that was all. I did this to say out my problems. Why I started to write and why I keep writing. I'll see you in a couple of months when I get better. Thanks for all the support. With love, Roy D. Harper. Recovery News. Hey there you. Okay, so I've been getting help like I said last time, and the number 1 advice that I received from the people in there, both patients and workers, was that I do something healthy that I like a sport or something around those lines. So, if you wanted to know what have I done lately is wrestle. Yeah. WWE, ROH, and JPW style version chili. Not really good if you are asking. Anyway, so after some time I talked this, my problem, with my literature teacher. And he took it surprisingly well. And he told me that doing something that I love or like at least is the best drug I can take. But Roy-sama, what are you talking about? What I am talking about is that I might be back sooner than expected. I expected to be back in mid-September, but I'll probably be back next week. With what I'll come back? You ask. With the following, An Angel Beats FIC. I will write this because my teacher recommended me to write something about this. So, expect the use or mention of drugs in this one.
ADX
Remember the new story I promised so many moons ago? Well, it be out soon. A BNHA X Tokyo Ghoul FIC. Yeah, I read some of these and I like them a lot. My turn to try this out. And upload for all my stories. More will come. I am better now. I even met a nice girl that I believe we might have chemistry that we might build into. Something, wink, wink. So yeah, I am still in rehab, but I'll upload probably and luckily next week. This was principally made to make you guys know that I am alive. Till next week. Roy D. Harper. Chapter 4, Royalty and Peasants. Chapter 4. I'm back. Welcome everybody to Chapter 4 of Sword of Power. In the last chapter, Naruto met Hanabi, and in this we will see a little bit of their relationship. Also, in the last chapter, if you remember well, Akatsuki wanted Yamato. Here, we are going to see why and what he is going to do for it. And finally, we are going to see the big difference on how Minato and Kushina treat Momo, Liz and Akatsuki, and how they treat Naruto. And now, let's go to the story. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Chapter 4, Royalty and Peasants. I can't believe you actually hit him. Naruto told his Hyuga friend that, scoffed and crossed her arms. He had it coming. No one makes fun of me or my friends. She explained, and Naruto shook his head as he passed a hand across his silver hair. 1 year had passed since Naruto and Hanabi met. Neither had a lot of friends, but they didn't need that. One good friend can make up to 10 average friends. According to them, Naruto hung out with Shikamaru and Chuji when Hanabi was forced to do her duties as Hinata's personal helper, or maid, as Naruto said when Hanabi told him of her first day doing her duties. Naruto had gotten a lot stronger with Yamato under the care of Hinata and Yugao, mastering the Dark Slayer style in 1 year. Now he was perfecting it. Taijutsu was average. Good enough for the academy. Kind of unyouthful for Guy. The man promised while crying youthful tears that Naruto will become a taijutsu expert when the academy is done. Ninjutsu and genjutsu are zones that none of them are good at. The most they could teach him is the shadow clone jutsu, but that would come in the future. Because Hinata wants to pass him his dance of the crescent moon. Anyway, going back to the topic. Hanabi and Naruto spent the day hanging out together. They went to the park to play. They ate ice cream and talked more than nothing. Mostly Hanabi. Naruto is the quiet type. They decided to go home early, because Hanabi ended up fighting a kid that made fun of Naruto's hair, and Hanabi being demoted to the branch family. The only reason Naruto didn't hit him was because Hanabi beat him to that. They kept talking about everything until they arrived at the Hyuga compound's doors. There, a small Hyuga girl was waiting, a frown decorating her face as she watched Naruto and Hanabi get closer. Hanabi got a panicked look on her face seeing the other Hyuga. That made Naruto raise a brow. In second thought, where had he seen this girl before? Where were you? The Hyuga demanded, and Hanabi played with her fingers. I was out, Hinata-sama. Hanabi said, looking down, afraid of what she could do. Naruto looked at Hinata, Hanabi's sister and clan heir. He narrowed his eyes, seeing that she was treating her sister like if she was some sort of dog. Doing what? She questioned once again, and Hanabi gulped. I was with a friend. Hinata then turned to Naruto and glared at him. Naruto didn't bother about that, already getting more than annoyed with her behavior. Go inside. I want to talk to him, Hinata said, and Hanabi looked between Naruto and her sister. Hinata turned one more time to her. What are you still doing here? Go. Now. Hanabi quickly nodded and left, giving Naruto an apologetic look. Once inside, Hinata turned to Naruto with a glare. And you? Why are you with my sister? She questioned, or more like demanded, and Naruto looked impassive. Because I can and I want. I don't understand why you are so altered about it, Hyuga-san. Naruto answered calmly, and Hinata narrowed her eyes. Don't talk so casually to me. I am Hinata Hyuga, heir to the Hyuga clan. You, a nobody, don't even have the same right to breathe the same air that the lowest of the branch members do, she said with an arrogant smirk, expecting to see the silver-haired kid apologize and leave shaking in fear. Naruto rolled his eyes, so, not even being a Namikaze, a son of the Hokage, is enough to be close to a branch member. You Hyugas and your standards are out of this planet, Naruto said as Hinata's eyes widened. And Namikaze? Naruto nodded. My full name is Naruto Namikaze. Maybe my sister Liz told you about me. In fact, she had. She remembers that her best friend told her how her older brother had changed in both personality and looks. Gulping, Hinata bowed. Forgive my rudeness, Namikaze-san. If I was aware of it, I wouldn't have acted like I did. Hinata apologized, and Naruto nodded. Sure. Goodbye, he said, accepting her apology and turning to leave. But Hinata, afraid that she stained relationships with the Namake's clan, decided to take one step further. Well, why don't you come to take tea with me as a form of apology? To show that there are no hard feelings between us and our clans. She said, standing tall, and saw that Naruto already was walking away. I guess I can make some time. I'll come at 5 o'clock, he said as he disappeared into the crowd. Hinata nodded satisfied and went to plan his tea party she'll have tomorrow with the Namake's. Namake's compound. Naruto entered his home and sighed. He was invited to have tea with the Hyuga heiress. As easy it would be to just skip that and not go, that could cause a new bunch of problems. One of them being Liz annoying him with questions on why he left her friend waiting. Hey Naruto, talking about the devil. Hello Liz, Naruto said as he went to the kitchen to serve himself a glass of water. Liz followed him and started to ask her questions. You came home early. What happened? Hanabi attacked a guy and it was for the best, call it a day there. Liz giggled and nodded. No training today? Naruto shook his head, already done. Now I'm going to meditate. I have a hard day tomorrow. Liz raised an eyebrow. Hard how? Naruto looked at her over his shoulder. Your friend, Hinata, thought that she insulted me somehow, so she invited me tomorrow to take the tea with her. Naruto explained, and he regretted it when he saw Liz grin and rushed to him, grabbing his shoulders. That's great. This will help both of you a lot, she exclaimed, and Naruto raised an eyebrow as he shook her hands off her shoulders. Help me how? To expand your social circle, dummy, she explained, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. Not like to be called dummy, but Liz continued. You literally have only 3 friends and you mostly only hang out with one. Hinata-chan only has me as her friend. You might note that she is stuck up, boring, a jerk, Naruto suggested, and Liz gave him a look. Serious, she stated, and Naruto nodded. Also that. Anyway, you two can become friends after this. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't you guys hang out after this? That way you can see her more than a stuck-up, boring, serious jerk. What do you say? Naruto looked at her with a blank, slightly annoyed. Look, you are going to keep pestering me until I agree, aren't you? Liz nodded with a smile. Naruto groaned as he passed a hand through his hair. Fine. But you better not annoy me for anything for a week. Deal, Liz said, and Naruto went to his room to meditate. Up there, he turned to Yamato that was resting on his lap. Why do I feel I'll regret this? Next day, Hyuga compound. After training with Hayate and Yugao, Naruto headed to the Hyuga compound. There, a guard received him. Namake-sama, Hinata-sama is waiting for you, the guard said, and Naruto nodded. The guard then proceeded to guide him to a room where Hinata was sat in front of a small coffee table. Next to her was Hanabi holding a tray with tea, biscuits, and sweets. Hanabi was glaring at the floor, not happy that her best and only friend is going to watch her being a maid, as he said one day. Hello Hyuga-san, Hanabi. Naruto greeted, and Hanbai smiled at him and nodded while Hinata frowned, feeling that they already started with the wrong foot. Naruto sat in front of Hinata and Hanabi put the tray on the table. I will take my leave now, Hanabi said, and then she left the room. Naruto watched her leave and closed the door behind her, and Hinata coughed to get the Namake's attention. At the beginning, she was rebellious and not really cooperative. But after disciplinating her a little, she quickly changed. Hinata said to start a conversation. Yesterday, while Naruto was meditating, Hinata and Liz hanged out. There, Hinata asked Liz what to talk about with Naruto. Liz told her to speak about something interesting and not go around some random talk. In Hinata's book, tradition is important and interesting. So, let's start with that. I know. Hanabi told me when she broke down crying because her sister hurts her for thinking, Naruto said calmly as he drank his tea. Hinata frowned, not liking how that came back at her. She wasn't respecting our tradition. The ones that don't respect our rules must be punished. Hinata defended herself, and Naruto nodded. I heard about those rules. There are the ones that makes 2 sisters master and slave with a difference of 5 minutes. Right? Naruto said as he grabbed a cookie and started to eat it. Okay, this is going in the wrong direction. She invited him to apologize, not to upset him even more. Well, let's not speak about clan politics anymore. The whole point of these meetings is to apologize for my rudeness I showed yesterday. If there is something I can do, I will certainly do it. Hinata offered with a polite smile and Naruto nodded. Remembering the deal he made with Liz yesterday, he steeled himself for what will come out of his mouth next. Well, I was wondering if you were busy tomorrow. If you are not, would you mind walking with me across the village? Naruto asked and smiled slightly as he heard something or someone fall outside the other side of the door. Hinata blushed as the question caught her off guard. Well, I am free tomorrow, so I guess that your request is possible. She spluttered out and Naruto smiled and nodded. Good to know, Hyuga-san. I'll come tomorrow at 1300 hours. He then turned and left the room. After he closed the door, he looked next to him at the floor and saw Hanabi quickly picking up small pieces of glass. Probably that was the sound that was heard. Need help with that? Naruto asked and Hanabi didn't answer. Naruto sighed and passed his hand through his hair as he bent down at Hanabi's level. Hanabi, if you are mad because I will be with your sister tomorrow, it is because Liz asked me to do it. This will change nothing between us. I will still be your friend after this. Okay? Hanabi smiled slightly and nodded. Okay. Naruto nodded and helped Hanabi on her little job. Once done, he left Namake's compound. Naruto walked into his home and saw that his sisters were watching how Katsuki was hitting a wooden dummy with a bokken. Naruto was curious for that, but didn't bother on why his brother would want to learn kenjutsu now. He was going to his room to meditate as usual, but knowing how his younger sister was, he knew it was going to be hard. Na-araru. Momo screamed as she clanged to her older brother's waist. Naruto released a sigh. Yes, Momo? Hey! Cat is also training with a sword. Maybe he is inspired by you. I doubt it. Momo pouted at her brother's negativity, but then she grinned. Hey, why don't you help him? Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why would I ever do that? Because you are a good big bro. Momo cheered. Naruto rolled his eyes and was going to head to his room and ignore all that what his younger sister just said. Momo, what could this loser teach me? Katsuki asked, walking with the bokken leaning on his shoulder. I had been trained by Jiraiya, the Sannin, and he is being trained by a no-name jounin to become what he is now. Nothing. He mocked with a smirk. Naruto narrowed his eyes at him and walked to the yard, where Katsuki was training. Liz sighed, knowing that this was going to end badly for one of her brothers. Maybe Katsuki is stronger than Naruto, but Naruto has more training in kenjutsu than him. But still, her money is on Katsuki. Katsuki walked in front of Naruto, a big grin on his face. Hey, why don't we make this more interesting? Naruto raised a brow. How more interesting? Simple, a bet. If you lose, that sword is mine. Katsuki exclaimed, and Naruto looked at Yamato before looking back at his brother. And if you lose? I don't care. I won't lose anyway, so you are welcome to say whatever you want. Katsuki said, and Naruto twitched his lips. Then, when I beat you, I want you to admit that I am better than you. Katsuki scoffed. As if, well, I'm going to win, so it doesn't matter. Liz, you are the referee. Katsuki, are you Su-dash? Just start the thing, Liz. Katsuki ordered, and Liz sighed as she made the sign to begin. Both brothers with bokken in hand stared at each other, before Katsuki rushed towards Naruto, ready to swing down towards his head. Naruto simply moved to the side and made Katsuki fall by putting his foot in front of his. Katsuki fell face first to the ground, and Naruto pressed the tip of his bokken on Katsuki's back. Are you happy? Naruto asked, and Katsuki glared at him and let out a growl out. Naruto rolled his eyes as he got the bokken off Katsuki. Katsuki turned around and saw that his older brother offered him his hand. Katsuki frown deepened as he slapped the hand away and stormed away into the house. Naruto shook his head as he grabbed Yamato and walked past his shocked sisters and towards his room. Next day, Hyuga compound. Naruto was admitted again to enter the compound and was heading towards the garden. The guard told him to go there because Hinata was waiting at that spot. On his way there he passed the training field of the clan and saw Hanabi furiously hitting a training post. Naruto decided to kill some time and to see what was bothering his friend. He walked behind her and tapped her shoulder, making her jump and turn around with an angry frown on her face. "Something wrong?" Naruto asked her. She huffed and turned back to the post. "You should go. Hinata-sama is waiting." Naruto sighed. "I am not interested to be with your sister for too long. I already told you that. So, what's the problem?" Hanabi took a breath to calm herself down. "Are we still going to be friends after this?" Naruto nodded yes. "You promise?" she asked, turning to him. "Look, Hanabi, I told you once, I told you twice. I'm with you till the end. Understood?" Hanabi's smile came back again as she nodded. Now go with Hinata. If she finds out you took some time because of me, she'll be mad." Naruto smiled slightly as he walked away towards the room where the Hyuga princess was. And done. This was the 4th chapter of Sword of Power. Some things first. This chapter 1 started writing it before I took a break. So, if some parts are kind of weird, forgive me. I decided to take Tayuya and Temari out of the harem. I read reviews and PMs you guys send me, so you win. Hanabi, Ino, Femhaku and Hinata are the only ones in the harem. Why I didn't put a scene with Hinata and Naruto at the end? Simple. I ran out of ideas. Sorry. This chapter was based on another story, so if you found them too similar, I am sorry. And that's all. Leave your review, that it helps my motivation. PM me for any doubts or suggestions. Follow and favorite the story and me. Till next time. Next chapter, Learning to be a Ninja. Chapter 5, A Weird Team. Chapter 5. I'm back. Welcome everybody to Chapter 5 of Sword of Power. In this one, we are going to have the teams formed. Why am I rushing this so quick, you ask? Because I don't know how to do the Academy chapter, so I'll make a time skip. Sorry about that. I'll fill up some important things during this chapter. Now let's go to the story. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Jutsu name. Chapter 5, A Weird Team. 12-year-old Naruto woke up for another day. But this day was special. Why? Because it is graduation day. He and the rest of his generation entered to the academy at the age of 7. He wanted to get over this period of time as fast as possible. He hated to be surrounded by idiots that thinks that being a shinobi is all fun and games or just to impress a boy. Just thinking how most of the girls obsessed over Sasuke Uchiha or his younger brother make him want to groan. Why the standards of the academy are so low are out of his comprehension. When he asked that to Hayate and Yugao, Yugao said she had the same question. What maybe annoys him more is the fact that his classmates think lowly being the only kid that doesn't have a part of the Kyuubi in him. They don't treat him like the dead last but not like a hero. They treat him like if he was nothing. He knows he is better than them in most of the fields of being a shinobi. He excels in kenjutsu, his taijutsu is good thanks to Guy, and he knows the basic 3 academy jutsu plus some that Hayate and Yugao taught him. Over the last year, he wasn't capable of training too much with Guy due to him having a team. He met them a couple of times, the first one being unique. Flashback. Naruto was waiting in the usual training ground where he trains with his different teachers. Today was taijutsu and Guy was late for a change. He didn't know what to expect from the eccentric man from time to time, but he knows that once he arrived, he will cry youthful tears while apologizing, followed by hours of physical training. He was wrong. Once Guy arrived, he was not rushing or weeping tears. He was walking slowly to him with a scowl in his face. Naruto stood up from his meditating position and looked at Guy. Something wrong, sensei? Guy didn't say nothing. He just placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder before he spoke. Naruto, I am afraid I got some bad news. I can't keep training you anymore. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why? I have taken a team. I'm sorry, my youthful student, but we are going to see each other less from now on. Guy said in a solemn tone that hinted sadness. Naruto nodded and bowed at the man. Then, the only thing that I can say is thank you for passing me your knowledge. I wish you best of luck with your new team. Goodbye, sensei. After that, Naruto walked away with Yamato at hand. But before he could leave the field, Guy had a brilliant idea. Wait, Naruto, why don't you join us in our first training session? Guy exclaimed, and Naruto looked at him over his shoulder with his usual expression. I wouldn't want to disturb your team, so I'll have to decline your offer, sensei. Naruto said politely. He has a lot of respect for the man, so there is no need to be rude. And he knows how harsh Guy's training can be. Better leave his new students adapt at their own pace. But Guy had already made up his mind. YOSH. Don't say unyouthful things like that, Naruto. You can inspire my team with your own flames of youth that I see grow stronger and wilder by each passing day. Guy grabbed Naruto's arm. Now, let's go, my youthful apprentice. Before he could react, Naruto found himself being dragged at high speed towards Training Ground 9. Naruto coughed a little due to the dust that was lifted when Guy made a rough break. When the dust dispersed, he could see 3 figures. He can recognize Hanabi's cousin, Neji Hyuga, and he can see 2 of his seniors that graduated that year. What are you doing here, Namakase? Neji asked with his arms crossed, looking at Naruto with a raised brow. Naruto didn't answer immediately. He first dusted himself off and looked at Neji. Guy-sensei dragged me here. He wants to have a session with the 4 of us, it seems. Naruto explained, and the girl with her hair done in 2 buns raised an eyebrow. Guy-sensei? She repeated, sounding confused. What do you mean by that? Guy coughed in his hand to call the attention. You see, Tenten. Young Naruto here had been my apprentice for years now. So, I decided to invite him to our youthful training session. The kid with big brows gaped as his eyes widened. A Namikaze training under Guy-sensei? You must be awesome. Neji scoffed at that. Don't get your hopes up, Lee. He is the black sheep of his family. The one that his destiny is failure. He smirked when he saw Naruto narrow his eyes and push Yamato out of its sheath with his thumb. Want to test that theory of yours, Neji? Naruto asked as he grabbed Yamato handle and pulled it out, holding the scabbard in one hand and the katana in the other. Neji smirked as he got in the gentle fist position. I would love to put you in your place, loser. Tenten looked at her sensei worried. Sensei, shouldn't you stop this? Guy shook his head. No. Lee, Tenten, pay attention. This will help you 2 flames of youth grow wild.
Byakugan.
Neji said as veins popped out of his eyes as he activated his bloodline. He rushed towards Naruto, planning on finishing this quickly and humiliate him. Naruto sidestepped and was going to hit Neji with the scabbard, but Neji saw this and blocked the attack and grabbed the scabbard. But with both of his hands full, he couldn't block when Naruto hit him on the head, making him stumble and let go the scabbard. Once that happened, Naruto kicked his legs and pushed him down with the scabbard. Once in the floor, Naruto pointed Yamato to his throat. You lose, Naruto simply said as he pressed Yamato tip against his neck. How? The Hyuga asked with an incredulous look. Because you underestimated your opponent. Guy said as he took a step. Naruto had trained for years to get where he is today. You are probably stronger than him. But if you keep fighting with that mindset, you will lose. Fight every fight like if it was your last one. Don't get your ego and arrogance get in the way and kill your flames of youth. Naruto sheathed Yamato again and offered his hand to Neji. That accepted it. He turned around to see the girl, Tenten, staring at Yamato with sparkles in her eyes. May I see your dash? No, was Naruto's simple answer, not even letting her finish. Wow, Naruto, that was amazing, Lee exclaimed, and Naruto nodded. Thank you, Namikaze. Naruto turned around to see Neji looking at him. Yes, I will be looking forward for our rematch, Neji said with a small smirk, and Naruto nodded. He never defeated Neji again. Present day. Naruto was waiting outside of the Hyuga compound for Hanabi. As usual, they were going to walk together to the academy. He was leaning against the wall and had Yamato at his hand. Sorry I'm late, Hanabi screamed as she came running out of the gates. /N. I won't describe her clothes because I am lazy. So search, Hanabi. The last movie. Ready to go? Naruto asked her and she nodded. Then let's go. They started walking towards the academy, with Hanabi making most of the talk. Sue, who do you want in your team? You. And then I don't care who. Naruto answered and Hanabi nodded with a smile. Then who do you not want in your team? Any of my siblings, was Naruto's next answer. Not even Momo? Not even Momo. Liz? No. I won't even ask if Katsuki, Hanabi said with a sigh and Naruto smirked. Good call. Hokage office. Minato was looking at the teams of the students that will graduate this year with a smile in his face. The bunch this year seemed really promising. As he and Kushina had agreed, she would be the sensei for Katsuki, Liz, and Momo. One of them is the child of the prophecy and under Kushina tutelage, they will found him or her. His smile turned bitter when he turned to see the name of his eldest son, Naruto. They know little to nothing about him, his likes, dislikes, hobbies, etc. He knows that he is friend with a Hyuga girl and that he had been practicing kenjutsu, but that's it. He was going to make an exception and make a 5-man team cell, but Hiruzen objected saying that Naruto would benefit knowing more kids. A knock to the door of his office broke his concentration. It was time to address the senseis of this year teams. Academy. Irika Umino was looking at his class with proud eyes. He first met them when they were 7. Now, they are about to start their shinobi lives and serve to the village. The 2 first tests were made rather easily for most shinobi-born kids. It was shuriken throwing and the second taijutsu. He was really impressed with Naruto though. During all these years, Naruto put minimal effort in everything. He didn't pay attention in class, but got good grades. He threw shurikens and kunais in a clumsy manner but always hit the target. In sparring sessions, he just defended himself for 1 minute and then forfeited. Now, the boy in front of him had surpassed everyone in every single part of the exams. He would lie if he says he expected Naruto to pull this type of abilities in the last day of school. He got 10 out of 10 in the throwing part of the test and even knocked out Mizuki in the taijutsu test. Good luck, it was the last one. Okay, Naruto, I'll ask you to do the 3 jutsu we taught here in the academy. Okay? Irika asked and Naruto nodded. Good. Please do the henge. Naruto nodded and transformed into Irika without any hand seals. Irika blinked surprised by that but smiled anyway. Good. Now do kurama. Naruto nodded and replaced himself with a chair that Mizuki was supposed to be. Excellent. And for last, the Bushin Jutsu. Naruto made a cross hand sign and 2 Narutos appeared next to him. 2 solid clones. Irika clapped his hands as he smiled. Good job, Naruto. I am happy and proud of giving you this headband, he said as he handed Naruto his headband with the Konoha symbol. Naruto accepted it with a short nod as he tied it to his left arm. Naruto went out and was instantly hugged by Hanabi that was wearing her headband on her forehead. I knew you would pass, even though you do barely do anything in class. She teased and Naruto clicked his tongue. Whatever. I am going to find Hayate-sensei and Yugao-sensei. Want to come? Hanabi frowned as she shook her head. I can't. Clan stuff. Maybe tomorrow? Naruto nodded sure. Good luck and congratulations, he said as he left to find his teachers. He ignored how his mother was congratulating his siblings when he passed by. And he didn't notice the sad look that crossed Kushina's face when she noticed him far away. Next day. He really is an interesting kid, don't you think? Naruto asked Yamato, thinking about the 3rd grandson Konohamaru, as he walked towards the Hyuga compound. Today was the day the teams were assigned. Outside of the gates, he could see Hanabi accompanied by Hinata and, What are you doing here, Liz? Liz looked at him with a scowl as Hinata gave him a small smile. Liz wanted to join us today in our way to the academy. Yeah. Not so terrible, don't you think, Naruto? Liz asked and Naruto scoffed. Whatever. Ready to go. Hanabi? Hanabi nodded with a smile and they both started to walk next to each other. Yep. I can't wait to be a full shinobi now, she said excited and Naruto couldn't help but to smile from her energy. Me too. I waited for this moment for too long. Hinata frowned as she walked faster to get next to Naruto. Hanabi. Behind me, she ordered. Hanabi lowered her head and nodded as she put herself behind Hinata and started to walk at a slower pace. Hinata then gave Naruto a graceful smile. So, how did you sleep? Fine. was Naruto's answer as he slowed his walk to be next to Hanabi as Liz got next to Hinata. Really smooth there, Hina. She teased and Hinata gave her an indignant look but said nothing. Academy. Naruto was sitting next to Hanabi in silence while the Hyuga was making most of the talk and he only nodding from time to time. Next to them was a weird kid that was just staring at Naruto for some reason. His name was Sai if he is not wrong. Then, Irika entered the classroom with some bruises on his face. All the class noticed the lack of Mizuki. Irika-sensei. Where is Mizuki-sensei? Sakura asked and Naruto noticed how Iruku went stiff. Mizuki is sick today, so you won't see him now, Irika explained while sweating nervously. But only Naruto noticed that little detail. Irika coughed to regain his composure. Okay now. I'll start saying the teams. Team 1, Naruto didn't care for that. He was waiting for Irika to say his name. Team 6, Naruto Namikaze. Naruto looked up hearing his name. Kiba Inuzuka and Ino Yamanaka. Your sensei is Asuma Sarutobi. Naruto let out a sigh. He was hoping that his team would be better. Team 7, Sasuke Uchiha, Hinata Hyuga and Shikamaru Nara. Your sensei is Kakashi Hatake. Team 8, Shino Aburame, Sakura Haruno and Choji Akimichi. Your sensei is Kurinai Yuhi. Team 9 is still active. Team 10, Hanabi Hyuga, Sai Shimura and Yakumo Kurama. Your sensei is Shursui Uchiha. Team 10, Katsuki Namikaze, Liz Namikaze and Momo Namikaze. Your sensei is Kushina Namikaze. Your senseis will come after lunch. That's all and good luck in your careers as shinobis. Irika said, feeling some tears coming to his eyes. After that, all the teams gathered together, including Hanabi. She said that he didn't know them well, so what better way than having lunch together. He only knew that Yakumo is shy and a little awkward and that Sai is just plain weird. He was planning to sneak and have lunch alone, but a platinum blonde had other plans. Hey, Naruto! He turned to see Ino waving at him and next to her was Kiba with his nin dog Akamaru in his hoodie. Naruto turned to Hanabi, that made him signs, telling him, go! I am going to regret this, he muttered as he made his way to his new team. What do you need, Ino? Naruto asked and Ino scowled, not liking the tone of his voice, but Kiba took the lead of the talk. We were going to have lunch together to know each other better. You should join as we are a team and all. Right, Akamaru? Arf. Naruto passed his hand through his hair and nodded, guess you are right. Let's go to the roof, he said, and he didn't give them any chance to answer as he walked to the door. Akamaru jumped from Kiba hoodie and went after Naruto. Kiba grinned and followed suit. Hey, wait! Ino screamed as she rushed after the two boys and dog. Ino got to the roof without breath as she stopped and panted, holding her knees. Why did you guys leave me behind? She demanded at her teammates that were already sat down with their bentos in front of them. You are too slow, was Naruto's answer as she marched towards him. She was going to give him a piece of her mind, but Kiba interrupted, seeing the explosion a mile away. Okay guys, we're here so let's eat, he said. Ino nodded and Naruto simply opened his bento. Kiba opened his and gave a piece of meat to Akamaru that started to chomp on it. Ino opened her bento that was simply a lettuce salad. Kiba, Naruto and Akamaru eyed the salad as Ino eyed their food that was way more complete than hers. Is that all you got, Ino? Kiba asked and Ino nodded. Yeah. Why? That isn't enough for a healthy diet. Naruto answered and Ino gave him a look. What do you mean? Do you think that I'll keep this look by eating that? She asked, pointing to his bento. No. I believe that you won't die of exhaustion by eating something else. You know, something that actually gives you energy. Really? Ino asked, getting annoyed, like what? Here, eat mine and I'll eat yours, Naruto said as he grabbed his bento and switched it with Ino's. I don't want your food. Ino screamed as her stomach rumbled a little, making her blush. I made it. Just try it, Naruto said. Ino sighed in defeat as she sat down and tasted the meat. Her eyes widened. It is actually really good. Who taught you how to cook? I learned alone. Naruto said as he started to eat the salad. Kiba raised an eyebrow. Really? Naruto glared at him from the corner of his eye. You don't believe my word? Kiba, who didn't like to be threatened, glared back. It's not that, moron. I just find weird that the Hokage-san has to cook for himself. And that no one taught you how to cook is even weirder. Kiba explained and Naruto nodded. I see. But my personal life is for me to know. And if you call me moron again, I will kill you. Kiba stared at Naruto with a little of fear as Naruto glared at him and he leaked a little of ki. Kiba gulped, why yeah? I would like to see you try. Naruto pushed Yamato out of the scabbard with his thumb and was going to grab the hilt when Ino intervened this time. Okay, both of you. We are a team, so we can't just go threatening each other. So, from this moment on, I am the leader of Team 6. Ino proclaimed and both Kiba and Naruto stared at her with deadpan expressions. No way in hell. Denied. Arf. Ino glared at the boys and Puppy as the bell rang. Naruto was the first one to stand up as he grabbed his bento. This was a waste of time. Oi! No need to be a jerk. Kiba screamed, but Naruto ignored him. The hell is his problem? Maybe family issues? Ino suggested and Kiba scoffed. As if. He is the goddamn Hokage kid. Yeah. One of the 4. Back in the classroom, Naruto sat alone. Hanabi was still with her team, happily talking to Yakumo, that was trying to keep up. Ino sat next to him and next to her Kiba. None of them said a word. Luckily, their sensei arrived quickly. Team 6, follow me. Asuma said from the door as he left. Naruto stood up and followed him as did Kiba and then Ino. Asuma was jumping from rooftop to rooftop. Naruto was tracking his chakra, a technique that Yugao taught him and was following him also by the rooftops. Kiba was tracking his smell and was surprised to see that Naruto could do the same that their new sensei. Ino was left behind rather quickly. Training Ground 6. Asuma arrived to the training ground first and was planning on resting a little before his new team arrived, but was surprised when Naruto landed in front of him. Not looking tired at all. Naruto didn't say a word. He just sat down in lotus position, put his katana on his lap and started to meditate. Not so long after Kiba arrived with his nin dog at his side. He was panting a little and sat against a tree that was nearby. 10 minutes later, Ino arrived, out of breath and collapsed against the soft grass. Asuma took a drag of his cigar as he examined his team. Naruto was still meditating, Kiba was talking to his dog and Ino was just getting her breath back. Okay, gather around. Time to introduce ourselves, Asuma said. Kiba, Ino and Akamaru turned to him while Naruto opened one eye and looked at his direction. Someone wants to start? Asuma asked, but he got no response. Not all at the same time, geez. I'll go first. My name is Asuma Sarutobi and I am your new sensei. My likes are cigarettes, games and a girl. My dislikes are too many responsibilities and working too hard. My hobbies are playing shogi and reading and my dream is to start a family one day. Now who's next? Kiba raised his hand and Asuma pointed at him. My name is Kiba Inuzuka, and he is Akamaru. I like dogs. I don't like jerks or cats. My hobby is to train with Akamaru and my dream is to be a great ninja. Asuma nodded and Ino raised her hand. My name is Ino Yamanaka. I like flowers and Sasuke. I dislike Sakura. My hobby is gardening and my dream is to marry Sasuke. Asuma sighed as he listened some parts of her speech. He pointed at Naruto last but not least. My name is Naruto Namikaze. I have likes and dislikes. My hobbies are not of your business and I don't have a dream, but a goal. And that is to get more power. Right, Asuma said as Naruto finished his speech. He got an energetic idiot, a fangirl and a brooding kid. Hooray. Okay. Now for the test dash. Wait. What test? Kiba asked and Ino nodded. Yeah, we already graduated. Asuma started to laugh as he heard that words. Ino and Kiba were confused but Naruto saw what he meant. That test was too easy to be the last one. There is another that is harder. Isn't it? Asuma nodded at his words. That's right. Only 33% of the graduates become genin. To see if you are genin material, I'll give you a test. Which is, before they could react, Asuma took each of their headbands and tied them to his waist. Is to get this back. Otherwise, you guys will have to go back to the academy. Also, attack me to kill. And we start. Now, Naruto and Ino went to hide in the bushes, while Kiba grinned fiercely. We got this in the bag, Akamaru. Akamaru barked in approval as both of them rushed to Asuma. Asuma blocked Kiba's punch and simply threw him into the forest. Akamaru saw this and went after him. Well, might as well look for the other two, Asuma said as he walked into the forest and took a drag of his cigar. Naruto followed him across the trees until Asuma stopped in a clear. Okay, Naruto, you either come out by your own will, or I'll have to go up there for you. Naruto, hearing that, unsheathed Yamato and jumped to Asuma. Asuma sidestepped the incoming attack with his hands in his pockets. Yamato stabbed the ground and Naruto quickly got on his feet and made an upslash trying to hit Asuma that stepped back. Attacking to kill? That's the spirit. But you're gonna need more than that, Asuma said as he went to Naruto, grabbed his wrist and punched him in the gut. Naruto gaped and let Yamato fall to his free hand and tried to stab Asuma that dodged the blow and kicked him to a tree. Come on, you seem smart. Do you really think that 3 fresh genin can take a jounin by themselves? Then it clicked in Naruto's mind. No, not by ourselves at least, Naruto muttered as he escaped into the forest. Asuma looked at him and sighed. Well, guess that Kakashi idea wasn't so good after all. With Ino. Kiba wakeu. Ino said, shaking Kiba awake while Akamaru licked his face. Kiba sat up while scratching his head. UHG. Damn it. The guy is good. Of course he is. He is a jounin and son of the third. What else could you expect? They turned around to see Naruto land next to them with Yamato in hand. Kiba glared at him. Shut up. Next time we are going to kick his ass. Akamaru barked in agreement and Ino frowned. Didn't you learn anything? He is way stronger than the 3 of us. Maybe, but we don't have to defeat him, Naruto said, and they looked at him. Eh? Kiba said, and Naruto passed a hand across his hair to put it back in place. It got a little messy after the fight with Asuma. We just need to get our headbands back. And we can't do that by ourselves alone. Ino raised an eyebrow. Are you saying we join forces? Naruto nodded yes. We are a team after all. Might as well start acting like one. Kiba nodded with a thinking face as Akamaru got in his hoodie. Fine. What's the plan then? They sat down in a circle as Naruto started to explain. He is a close-range fighter, so taijutsu and kenjutsu is not an option. Kiba, you and I are going to be the distraction. You try to get close while I use a technique that works from a distance. Ino, can you use a jutsu of your clan? Ino nodded. I know the Shintenshin no jutsu. Why? Naruto nodded. When you see the chance, use it. He might evade it. But there is where Akamaru get into the picture. Akamaru tilted his head and looked at Naruto confused. With Asuma. Asuma went back to the beginning and laid against a tree. He had seen Kiba and Naruto and he feels that Ino will try next. Oi! Ready for round 2? Or maybe not. He looked at Kiba that was already rushing at him. He slowly stood up and was going to block him when he heard, Dark Slayer style, chakra swords. He sidestepped to dodge a blue sword that went flying to him and got stuck on the tree. He looked to see Naruto with one hand sealed behind Kiba. Kiba continued attacking him while Naruto kept throwing swords that disappeared after a while. Kiba, jump! Naruto ordered and Kiba complied. Once in the air, Naruto unsheathed Yamato made a quick cut in the air and then put the katana back in its scabbard. Dark Slayer style, judgment cut. As he said that, multiple blue slashes appeared in the air, where Asuma was. Asuma jumped as slashes started to cut everything they could, including some trees. In mid-air, Asuma heard Ino this time. Shintenshin no jutsu, mind-body switch technique, Ino said as Asuma was in the air. It managed to hit and Ino body went limp and Asuma mind went blank. Ino, in Asuma's body, twisted and landed on his feet, but Asuma got control back in his body due to Ino not having a lot of chakra. But before he could react, Akamaru rushed out of some bushes, jumped and grabbed the 3 headbands from Asuma's waist. The puppy gave each member a headband as Asuma smiled. Well, guess you guys passed. I knew this was a bad idea for a test, but whatever. Congratulations. We are officially Team 6. Kiba and Akamaru jumped of happiness. Ino raised her fist and Naruto smiled. Now, this isn't going to be an easy road, but it is my job to help you guys to find it and go through it smoothly. Come tomorrow here to get our first mission. Now, who wants to celebrate? Asuma asked with a smile. Yeah. Kiba screamed and Akamaru barked in agreement. Ino nodded and Naruto just turned around and was going to leave when Ino tapped his shoulder. Hey, it was you that said that we should act like a team, she teased with a smile and Naruto sighed. You really are a pain. He passed a hand across his hair and looked at Yamato. Let's go. Kiba grinned. Finally, you are not being an antisocial. What's that supposed to mean, dog breath? Oi, want to fight? I bet you couldn't even touch me. Both of you cut it off. Asuma chuckled seeing how his team interacted. This is sure to be interesting. And done. This was Chapter 5 of Sword of Power. I just want to say that I wasn't really inspired lately due to problems in my life. But here I bring you a new chapter that I at least hope it is acceptable. Now, a few things. Naruto not beating Asuma alone. Naruto is stronger than most of his generation. But he is not OP or godlike. He can't beat a Jounin just yet. Chakra swords. It is Naruto's version of Virgil's summoning swords. I think that chakra swords make more sense in this context. And I think that is all. Also, there is no Uchiha massacre. And now that's all. Remember to leave your review that it helps my motivation. PM me for any doubt or suggestion. Follow and favorite the story and me. Till next time. Roy D. Harper. Next chapter, C-Rank Mission. Chapter 6. C-Rank Mission. Chapter 6. Welcome everybody to the newest chapter of Sword of Power. Last chapter, Team 6 was formed and here we are going to see them in some D ranks and their first C rank. And I am going to plant some seeds for something that will come during the Chunin exams. And now let's go to the story. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Jutsu name. Chapter 6. C rank mission. Get that damn thing away from me. But it is so cute. Who would say no to a face like this? Someone that doesn't worship the devil. Arf. Ino glared at her teammates while holding Tora. You two are just jealous that you aren't that close to a girl like me. Like how Tora is. Kiba and Naruto shared a look making Ino anger even bigger. What's up with those faces? Asuma sighed as he passed a hand across his face. The 2 weeks they had been a team had been full of arguments, fights, and an angry Ino mostly. He is trying to make them act like a team, but between Naruto being a jerk to his teammates, Kiba's arrogant attitude and Ino bossy ways, he truly has, quoting the Nara clan, a troublesome team. Hiruzen watched with mild amusement how his son team was arguing before handing Tora to its owner. Naruto smirked seeing the cat fighting to breathe. It had it coming. Kiba nodded. Finally, we agree on something. Arf. How can you be happy on the suffering of that poor creature? Ino demanded and Asuma sighed. Pops, why? He asked him and Hiruzen chuckled. Life would not always be easy, Asuma. This team has a lot of potential and I believe you can make them reach it. Asuma took a drag of his cigarette, maybe. When they are not trying to reach to each other's throats, we can work on that. Sensei, tell these two that we should pity poor Tora. Ino demanded and Asuma sighed. Guys, can you do for me this one favor? Please. Asuma said to the male members of his team. Hell no. Me and Akamaru hate cats. If the cat choke by that fat lady hugs, the better. Kiba said and Akamaru barked in agreement. Naruto looked at his sensei with one condition. Asuma raised a brow and nodded. If we can finally have a true mission instead of chores. Ino nodded, he is right. He had only done lame jobs of lazy people. I didn't go to the academy for that. Asuma looked at his father that shrugged. If you think that they are ready, I have a mission for them. Asuma scratched his chin. I don't know. Kiba grinned. Come on, sensei. We are ready. We might fight from time to time, but together we kick ass. Asuma sighed. All right, we are taking the mission. Kiba jumped while Ino pumped her fist into the air. Naruto smiled slightly. Hiruzen smiled very well. Your mission is to escort a convoy to Sunagakure. There might be bandits in the way, so be careful. They nodded and went to pack their things. Asuma stayed behind to ask something to his father. Thing that he noted, something troubling you, Asuma? Asuma took a drag of his smoke as he nodded, yeah. Are you sure they are ready? They are good and have a lot of talent, but their teamwork is lacking. And when I say that, I mean that it almost non-existent. Asuma said his concerns and Hiruzen nodded. Asuma, when you gave them their test, did they work as a team? Yeah. But what does it all do with this? Tell me, why did you think that they worked as a team that time? Hiruzen asked again and Asuma shrugged. Because they were in a dangerous position. If they failed the test, they must go back to the academy. I still don't see why all this is needed. Hiruzen smiled slightly. It has everything to do with this. Let's put them in a dangerous position once again and let's see how they react. Asuma groaned. You are putting me in a hard position. You know? Hiruzen chuckled. I trust your judgment. Now go. Not want to keep them waiting, do you? Road to Suna. Oi, Naruto. Kiba said, and Naruto looked at him from the corner of his eye. Yes, Kiba? Where is your backpack? Don't tell me you forgot it. He said with a look of disbelief. Naruto shook his head. I don't need one. I sealed my things in scrolls. Eh? Kiba asked, not getting what he said. Naruto sighed. It seems that your breath isn't the only thing that is related to an animal. Sealing is an almost forgotten art, but that is used in many tools of a shinobi, like explosives tags. Ino perked up. And how you know to seal things? A book. It was interesting but complex at the same time. Naruto informed and Kiba grinned. Hey, you think that you could teach me that seal thing? Naruto shrugged. I doubt that a dog can understand something as complex as sealing. Kiba frowned and let out a growl. Are you calling me stupid team? Naruto stopped and looked at him. Congratulations. You aren't as dumb as I imagined. Kiba took some steps forward and got face to face with Naruto. You think that you're so good, Dancha? Just because you are son of the Hokage and have a fancy sword. Naruto narrowed his eyes and pushed Yamato out of its scabbard with his thumb. Ino got in the middle. Come on. We are in middle of a mission, can you two argue later? She said, and Kiba growled. No can do. He had this coming for a while now. Akamaru grabbed his owner pant, trying to push him away. Hey, why are we stopping? The owner of the convoy asked, and Asuma sighed. Sorry, Lord Akari. I'll see what is holding us. Asuma apologized and he went out to see Naruto and Kiba about to fight but being separated by Ino. He sighed and was going to scold them for acting like this in middle of a mission but stopped himself when he heard something from the bushes. Naruto also did and caught an arrow in mid-fly that was headed to Ino's face. Bandits, Naruto said, and Ino seemed to panic. Be bandits. Asuma gritted his teeth. Ino, go and protect the client. Kiba, Naruto, help me get rid of them, he ordered, and his 3 students nodded. 4 bandits came out of the bushes. 3 with swords and 1 with a bow. Kiba rushed to one with a sword that tried to slash him. He ducked and prepared his attack. Tsuga, passing Fong. He started to spin at a great speed and he collided against the bandit's stomach, making him scream of pain. The bandit fell and Kiba noticed that his hand was covered in blood. He turned to see that the bandit guts were visible and blood was coming out of his mouth. He started to shake. Did I kill him? In his shock, he didn't notice the arrow heading to his head. Kiba! Naruto screamed, getting in front of him and catching the arrow in mid-flight. Kiba looked at how Naruto saved him as he made one-hand signs, Dark Slayer style. Chakra swords. 2 blue swords appear behind Naruto and were shot towards the bandit chest, killing her. Another bandit tried to slash him, but Naruto blocked with the scabbard of Yamato, and then he unsheathed the weapon, followed by a slash in the air and sheathing it again. Once Yamato was back on its scabbard, the bandit throat was slit open, making his blood jump on Naruto's face. Once the adrenaline died down, he looked at his hands that had blood on them. This killing? Why don't I feel better? He gulped as Asuma came by. Are you two all right? He asked, and Naruto nodded. Yes, sensei. If you excuse me, I'll go clean myself. Kiba nodded, still shaking a bit. I'll go too. Akamaru whimpered and followed his partner. Ino got out of the convoy and looked with worry towards the direction of his teammates. Are they going to be okay? Asuma sighed as he lit his cigarette. I hope so. The first kill is always the hardest. Ino looked down. I was useless, wasn't I? Not at all. You had one of the hardest jobs. But I did nothing, Ino said, and Asuma sighed and looked up. You have a lot of potential, Ino. I'll make sure that you manage to get all of it. Back with Naruto and Kiba, they found a river and started to wash the blood of them. Neither of them said a word. Akamaru was looking between them and decided to help their relationship. Say something. This is your chance to make a bond. Kiba gave Akamaru a look and then looked at Naruto. He was staring at his reflection, face still with blood. That was pretty. Kiba started and Naruto nodded. Surreal. Kiba nodded, yeah. I thought it would be easier. Me too. I trained all my life for this. To prove myself. To become stronger. And when I get dirty with this, I paralyze. Naruto said, and Kiba rolled his eyes. Come on, man. I was worse than you. You saved my life. Even thought that you hate me and all. Kiba said, smiling, and Naruto closed his eyes. I don't hate you. I just found you annoying. Kiba groaned and was going to give him a piece of his mind, but Naruto continued. And interesting in the same amount. Was Kiba's smart answer. You are always smiling, ready to face any challenge with that arrogant smile on your face. Always happy. I simply don't get you. Kiba chuckled, we are on the same boat. You are always so broody and quiet. Even thought that you are the Hokage-son, and you probably got everything you ever wanted. Not quite. My parents taught me little to nothing. Naruto admitted, and Kiba looked at him. Everything I know is thanks to people that took time to know me. That gave me a chance. To them, I only owe them my birth. No more. No less. But aren't you the oldest? Shouldn't you be the clan heir or something? Kiba asked, and Naruto shook his head. In my family, if you don't have a demon fox sealed inside you, you are nothing. Naruto said, and Kiba chuckled again to receive a glare from Naruto. Something funny? Yeah, that my clan works similar. You see, to become clan head, you need to beat the clan head. And one day, me and Akamaru will defeat that guy or chick and lead my clan. Right, bud? Arf. He looked at Naruto with a determinate look. And I know you are something. You are Naruto Namikaze, an excellent swordsman, a great shinobi, and my friend. And hell, if you want, you can get to be Hokage with your skills, he said as he put his fist in front of Naruto. Naruto watched with wide eyes his fist before closing his eyes and smiling softly. You are really an idiot, he said as he bumped his fist with Kiba's. Kiba grinned, and by the way, I'm still going to defeat you. Naruto smirked. I'll like to see you try. Akamaru moved his tail happily and barked, Arf! Suna. The rest of the trip was rather calm with no bandits or attacks. Asuma smiled, seeing that his team was getting along now. Naruto was still quiet and gave his dry answers that seemed to tick Kiba off and annoy Ino. But this time they take it in a friendlier manner. It seems that his dad was right. Again. Now they were resting in Suna for the day before going back to the village. So, what's up between you and Hanabi? Ino asked to Naruto that raised a brow. What do you mean? Kiba grinned. She means if you two are dating or something like that. He explained, and Ino nodded. That's right. So, are you? Naruto closed his eyes. No. But you want to.
Ino kept persisit.
No. We are just friends. So, you want to bang her? Kiba asked, and he received a slap on the head by Ino. I am starting to like you too. Please don't ruin it. Naruto said, and Kiba rolled his eyes. I think that you need to learn the art of flirting. Ino scoffed. You? Flirting? With what? A plant? Kiba growled at her. Of course not. I can charm any girl you want, he proclaimed, and Akamaru shook his head. And her? Naruto asked, pointing to a blonde girl with 4 ponytails, and she was carrying a fan with her. Kiba grinned. Just watch. Rookie. He got closer to her as his 2 teammates and dog stayed behind watching. Ino smiled. 10 Ryo that she rejects him. 20 that she slaps him, Naruto said, looking at the scene in front of him unfold. Arf. They didn't wait long. They saw Kiba open his mouth, and some seconds later, the girl punched him on the stomach, making him bend. Naruto smiled. I win. Ino crossed her arms as they walked towards their injured teammate. That didn't count as a slap. They got where Kiba and the girl was, and Naruto lifted Kiba by his arm. Sorry about my teammate behavior. He is really sorry. Aren't you? He asked to Kiba, that nodded slowly. The girl huffed. Whatever. Just don't try anything with me like that again, she said, and Naruto nodded. They were going to go when another voice came. Who are you? It wasn't a question, but more like a demand. They turned around to see a small kid around their age, with red hair and the kanji for love on his forehead. Why? Naruto asked, and the kid didn't blink. The girl seemed terrified of the kid, and many people left the area when they saw him. Gee, Gaara? Gaara looked at him at the eye. Answer me. Naruto let go off Kiba's arm and narrowed his eyes. Make me. The kid didn't say anything. He just extended his arm, and the sand around them started to move. Naruto got in a fighting position when, Gaara, don't. A shinobi of Suna said, and Gaara looked at him from the corner of his eye. You can't kill a shinobi of another village. Gaara nodded as he lowered his arm. He turned around and Naruto talked. Naruto Namikaze. Gaara looked at him over his shoulder and nodded. Namikaze. Mother wants your blood. And I am going to give her that. Road to Konoha. I can't believe that you actually flirted with the daughter of the Kazekage, Asuma said to Kiba, that rolled his eyes. I didn't know, okay? And to add things worse, you did it horribly. Ino teased, and Akamaru barked in agreement from the hoodie of Kiba. Oh, shut up. Naruto all the way was silent, thinking about that boy. Gaara was his name. Naruto, are you okay? Asuma broke him from his thoughts, and he nodded. Yes, just thinking on someone we met there. Ino looked at him. You mean the Gaara kid? Naruto nodded, and Kiba scoffed. He didn't seem to be a big deal. I bet that me and Akamaru can take him out whenever we want to. Who knows? Naruto said, closing his eyes. But he felt odd. And dangerous. Asuma nodded with a serious face. It is good to keep tabs on other shinobi. But remember, Suna is our ally, so don't think of him as an enemy, just as a threat by now. Naruto nodded. Sure. I just hope that if we fight, he'll give me more power. And done. That was chapter 6 of Sword of Power. Hope that you enjoyed. This chapter was for 3 things. 1. Show a more human side of this Naruto. 2. Bonding between Team 6. 3. Plant the seeds for a future Gaara versus Naruto, which I can't wait to write. I usually put here parts that might need some explanation, but because it is late here in my country, I'll leave to here. If you have any questions, PM me or leave it on the reviews. I'll answer in next chapter. And that's all. Remember to leave your review, that it helps my motivation. PM me for any doubt or suggestion. Follow and favorite me and the story. Till next time. Roy D. Harper. Next chapter. Emergency Call. Help in Wave. Chapter 7. Emergency Call. Help in Wave. Chapter 7. I'm back. Welcome everybody to chapter number 7 of Sword of Power. Before we start, I want to say that I just noticed something important. In chapter 5, I put 2 teams 10. Yeah, I know, I am a genius. Hanabi team is team 10. Naruto's siblings are team 11. Now that it is clear, we can start the chapter. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Jutsu name. Chapter 7. Emergency Call. Help in Wave. Ino and Akamaru were watching how Naruto and Kiba were involved in a taijutsu spar. They were early in the morning and their sensei still didn't appear. So to kill time and practice, Kiba challenged Naruto to a spar. No jutsu, no weapons, no Akamaru, no Yamato. Naruto, out of pure boredom, accepted and left Yamato leaning against a tree. The spar was what Ino and Akamaru were expecting. Naruto was attacking Kiba with a style they didn't recognize that focused more in attack. Kiba was blocking the best he could, but he received a strong kick to the chest, sending him to the ground. Naruto placed his knee on his stomach, leaving him hard to breathe as Kiba struggled to break free. "Did you have enough?" Naruto asked as Kiba kept trying to wiggle free. Just you wait. Next time I'll kick your ass," Kiba proclaimed as Naruto got off him. Kiba quickly stood up and got in a fighting position. Naruto passed a hand across his hair and got in the Goken stand. They were interrupted by Asuma appearing with a serious face. "Sensei? Something wrong?" Ino asked and he nodded. "We have an emergency mission." "What kind of emergency?" Naruto asked, grabbing Yamato. "Team 7 is in trouble." Road to Wave. "Why the fuck is him coming with us?" Katsuki asked his mom that frowned. "Don't curse, young man," she said. "Your father decided to send 2 teams to back up Team 7. "Why 2? Liz asked. "You know who Zabuza Momochi is?" Asuma asked, and they shook their heads with the exception of Kushina. "He is a former swordsman of the Mist that even tried to kill the Mizukage." "And what is he doing here then?" Ino asked, and Asuma shrugged. "He failed to kill the Mizukage, and now he is working as a mercenary of sorts. He was hired to kill the client of Team 7. And can't Kakashi take care of him? I mean, he is a badass shinobi," Katsuki exclaimed, and Naruto rolled his eyes. "Because he probably has help. Right, sensei?" Asuma nodded as he took a drag of his cigarette. "That is what Kakashi thinks, at least. So we need to be careful." "Wow, Naru, that was so smart." Momo praised her big brother that didn't care at all. Katsuki grumbled, "Lucky shot, loser." Kiba glared at the redhead that glared back. "What did you say?" he asked as Akamaru growled at him. Why the fuck you care, dog face?" "Because you were talking about my teammate, you spoiled brat." "Spoiled brat? Oh, now it is on," Katsuki said, ready to hit Kiba on the face as Naruto grabbed Kiba by the hoodie and dragged him onwards. "Don't waste your breath. We have a mission to complete." Katsuki took that as an offense. You don't think I am worth your time or something?" he screamed, just to be ignored by Naruto. "What? Too good to answer?" Again, no answer. He was going to give his brother a piece of his mind when Kushina stopped him. "Katsuki, that's enough. Your brother is right, you can't go starting fights with your teammates." "She's right, Kiba," Asuma said. "That isn't a shinobi behavior." As the 2 sensei scolded their most troublesome students, Momo and Liz went with Ino and Naruto that were talking. "Hey, Naru!" Momo screamed and Naruto sighed. "What, Momo?" he asked, and his sister grinned. "How had you been? It's been a long time since we last talked," the happy girl said, and Naruto rolled his eyes. "I wonder why," he said sarcastically, and Momo shrugged. "I don't know. Why? Hey, do you mind? We were talking," Ino said, annoyed to be interrupted. "Come on, Ino. I know you two are friends and teammates, but family wins over that," Liz said with a smile that had smugness on it. Like if she just won a race or something. Ino was not going to have any of that, right? "But I was talking first, so I win over you. Besides, I bet he finds you pretty annoying." Liz widened her eyes before narrowing them in indignation. "How dare you to say that? If he should find something annoying, is that bossy attitude of yours. And what? Now are you fantasizing over my brother instead of Sasuke?" Ino blushed as she glared at her. "No," Liz smirked. "So, you don't like him a bit?" I like him like a friend." "Liz, can you stop?" Naruto said, tired of that stupid argument. "Sure. About what exactly?" Liz asked with a smile to her brother that looked at her with a dry look. "Behaving like a 5-year-old, for instance." "Ha!" Ino said. "And you too, Ino. Tazuna home." And that's what happened. Kakashi explained how the mission went. From the bed he was resting from his wounds. Kushina nodded as she scratched her chin. I see. And you think he will come back? Kakashi nodded. That's right. The hunter that took him should just take the head, not the whole body. Besides, senbons aren't as good to kill like any other weapons. A fake dead, huh? Asuma said. We need to prepare when he comes back then. Kushina finished and Kakashi nodded, book in hand. That's right. I'll give Zabuza a week before he is fully recovered. Kushina nodded as she got an idea. She turned to Asuma with a grin. Hey, do you mind if I train Naru for this week? Asuma raised an eyebrow but shrugged. Only if he wants. But I have to warn you, his abilities are over than most of this generation. Kushina raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Sounded weird. How can Naruto be better than most of his generation with the grades he went out? She went to the living room where she found Kiba and Katsuki glaring at each other. Sasuke brooding over something, Shikamaru sleeping, Hinata and Liz talking just like Ino and Momo were doing. But Naruto was nowhere to be seen. Where is Naruto? She asked and Momo shrugged. Don't know. Haven't seen Naru in a while. He probably went out to train, Kiba said and Katsuki scoffed. For what? Someone like him will never improve. Oi! Last time you insult my friend. Or what? Kushina sighed at her son's behavior. She looked out the window with a sad look, wondering if she will ever get back her son. Next day, Naruto slowly opened his eyes. He went out to train last night, and it seems he fell asleep there in the soft grass. He sat up and stretched his arms. He grabbed Yamato and was going to walk back to Tazuna Place when he felt a chakra signature close. He walked where the source was and spied to see who it was. It was a young girl in a kimono, with brown eyes and black hair. She was picking some herbs and Naruto got suspicious. He decided to walk to her. The girl seemed to hear him as she turned to his direction and gave him a small smile. Hello. May I help you? Naruto looked at the girl suspiciously. What are you doing here? The girl seemed taken back by his attitude but regained her composure with a smile. I am picking some medical herbs for a friend. What happened to him? Naruto kept questioning her. A thug of Gato injured him. He is barely alive with a high fever. The girl said and Naruto nodded. Need help? Picking herbs, I mean, Naruto asked, still with doubts about what the girl is saying. It would be appreciated. Thank you, she said as the two started to pick the medical plants. Once they were done, Haku smiled at him. Thank you, Naruto. And you are? He asked and she smiled. Haku. She turned around and left. Naruto stared at her back before going back to the house. Bridge. Isn't this lovely, Naruto? She asked to Naruto that side, cursing his sensei for putting him in this. When Naruto came back, Asuma wasn't happy. He scolded him and then sent him to watch the bridge from any attack. His partner, Hinata. No. He deadpanned. We are in a bridge that might be attacked in any second. The sky is cloudy, and I can literally smell suffering. For his surprise, Hinata giggled. That wasn't a joke. People are suffering here. Naruto informed her and she blushed as she looked down. She asked Liz for advice again, and her advice was agreeing with him. To feed his ego or something. She didn't notice when Naruto broke apart from her. He walked to the familiar girl that he saw back in the forest. Haku. He called and she turned to him with a small smile. Hello, Naruto. What are you doing here? She asked and Naruto narrowed his eyes. My job. And now I ask you the same. Haku nodded. Well, I wanted to see how the bridge was being built, so here I am. And what job you have? Protect it. Naruto was going to answer when a voice he hates came from behind. Naruto. Hinata screamed as she rushed to the silver-haired shinobi. He sighed. What? Don't leave me behind. What if we are attacked? She asked and then turned to Haku. Who is she? She whispered to Naruto. Her name is Haku. And she was already leaving because she isn't supposed to be here. Naruto deadpanned. Haku nodded with a serious face. Oh, okay. But, do you mind taking me home? I don't want to be attacked in the way. She said to Naruto that was going to say no. But then remembered he was with Hinata. Sure. He turned to the Hyuga heiress. Hinata, I'll be back soon. But what about the mission? she asked, and Naruto looked at her over his shoulder. I'll be back soon. Naruto and Haku walked across the streets, and Naruto could admire the poverty of this town. It made him sick. How can you live here? He asked, and Haku frowned. With anything we can find. That's why I need to get the herbs in the forest instead of buying medicine. Naruto nodded, not knowing what to say. They were starting to exit the town when Haku stopped. Naruto noticed that a few steps ahead of her. Something wrong. Why are you like that? She asked, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. How? So cold. So distant. Like protecting yourself from the world. Haku explained, getting to his face, and Naruto looked at Yamato. That's how I am. Cold, distant, and maybe even evil. I don't know. And most important, I don't care. He said, and was going to go back to the bridge when Haku grabbed his hand. Naruto, why are you fighting? What is your goal in life? She asked, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why? To know. Mine is to protect and serve my important people. And yours? If she asked this question to Naruto months ago, he would say to become more powerful. But now he met people he grew to care for. At least a little bit. So now, I want to be recognized to prove to the ones that believed in me that I was worth it. That way I can protect them. Haku smiled at his words and nodded. That's a great goal, Naruto. I won't hold you anymore. Thanks for protecting me. Haku said before she turned away. Naruto watched her go with a small smile forming on his face. Maybe this of being a nice guy like Hanabi says, isn't that bad. Some days later. So Zabuza should be attacking today? Kushina said, and Kakashi nodded. That's what we think. So, we are sending everyone to the bridge, just to be ready. But what can go wrong? The bridge is almost finished, Tazuna said, and Asuma took a drag of his cigar. A lot of things. Now let's go. They exited the house, but at the doorstep Asuma looked at Kiba. Stay here just in case. You too, Sasuke. We don't know if they will come here at some point. Kakashi ordered, and annoyed both genins accepted. They walked to the bridge to found it covered by a dense mist and corpses. They are dead. Tazuna screamed, and a low chuckle was heard. Don't worry, old man, you'll meet them soon enough. Zabuza said, coming out of the mist with a hunter nin by his side. Tazuna trembled in fear, as did Ino. Momo and Liz sweated a little, and Hinata gritted her teeth. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he pushed Yamato out of its scabbard, and Katsuki grinned. Asuma threw his cigarette to the floor. Naruto, take care of the helper. Help him, Katsuki, Kushina said, and turned to the rest. You protect the client no matter what. And so the battle started. Naruto rushed at great speed to the hunter nin and tried to kick him. To be blocked. He felt someone grab the back of his neck and push him back. That being Katsuki, that started to launch a barrage of kicks and punch to the masked shinobi that blocked everything. In one misstep of Katsuki, their opponent took out a senbon and tried to stab Katsuki with it. Naruto noticed that and went to grab the nin's hand to take away the senbon. He tried to stab his knee, but the speed of the hunter nin was better than expected. So he dodged with ease. Don't get in my way, Katsuki demanded to his older brother that scoffed. Then stop being reckless, he said before he took Yamato out and tried to stab him. The nin dodged, and Naruto did one hand signs. Dark Slayer style. Chakra swords. 2 blue swords appeared and went to stab the nin that jumped out of the way. Naruto made some quick slashes in the air before putting Yamato away. Blue slashes were formed, surrounding the enemy. Dark Slayer style. Judgment cut. Once the fake hunter nin touched one slash with his arm, the slashes started to cut. When he landed, blood was seen in his legs and arms and a slash mark on his mask. You are good, he praised, and Naruto closed his eyes. I don't need praise from a corpse. Shut the fuck up. How the fuck did you do that crap? Katsuki demanded, getting on his brother's face. Naruto ignored him and kept looking at his opponent. Focus on the task in hand. Then you can complain about me. He pushed Naruto to the side, and Naruto glared at him. Fuck you. You are not better than me. You are the fucking worse. The nin saw this opportunity to use his ace. He made the hand signs and said, Makio Hyosho? demonic mirroring ice crystals. Suddenly, both brothers were surrounded by ice mirrors. This is my secret technique. Everyone that was trapped here died. So please surrender now. I don't want to be your killer. Akatsuki growled as he charged to punch a mirror with the nin inside. The punch was hard enough to make the ice crack, but it fixed itself. Don't bother. They are reinforced by chakra. While he is pulsing his chakra in the mirrors, they are pretty much indestructible, Naruto said, and Akatsuki growled. A bloodline? He asked, and Naruto nodded and Akatsuki grinned. But I know something that is stronger than just some shitty bloodline. Akatsuki closed his eyes and started to channel chakra. But it wasn't his chakra. He opened his eyes to see that now they were silted horizontally and the red was bloodier. He let out an inhuman roar as he rushed to one mirror and punched it. But this time, the mirror exploded with half of the dome. Naruto covered his face with his arm to avoid the pieces of glass hitting his face. He looked to his brother that sat on the floor, tired of the use of the Kyuubi power, and then he shifted his attention to the hunter nin that had his mask destroyed. He walked to him to see Haku. Haku looked at him with a sad smile. Hello, Naruto. Naruto got on one knee and looked at her at the eye. What are you doing? Weren't you protecting your important people? Zabuza is my important people. I live and die for him. I am just a tool for him to use, and a broken tool has no use. So, please, finish me so I can dash. Slap. Haku's face was looking at the side by the force of the slap Naruto gave her. She looked at him as she touched her cheek to see Naruto glaring at her. Don't speak like you are nothing. You are something. Haku, you are one of my important people. So please, don't speak like that. Naruto said, and Haku felt tears to her eyes. Naruto. He smiled at her as they hear the sound of lighting. They turned to see a Kakashi's hand across Zabuza's chest. Zabuza! Haku screamed as she rushed to the corpse of her owner. He looked at her with a sad look. Haku, I'm sorry. Zabuza, don't die please. She begged as Naruto walked close to them. Zabuza looked at him. Kid, take care of her. Will ya? He asked, and Naruto tightened his grip on Yamato. He nodded. I will. Zabuza chuckled as he felt the strength leave his body. He closed his eyes for one last time as he died in peace. Haku clutched to his dead body and cried as the men of Gato came. One last fight to free Wave was coming. Tazuna home. Haku was kneeling in front of Zabuza's grave as tear marks were seen. Poor girl. Ino said, and Kiba nodded. No kidding. She just lost a dude that was a dad for her. Akatsuki scoffed. I don't understand, why are we taking her with us? We should just kill her. Kushina glared at her son to silence him up. Naruto watched Haku and walked to her and sat next to the girl. I'm sorry. She shook her head. Don't. It wasn't your fault. He nodded and looked to the sky. You know we are taking you to Konoha, right? I am aware of it. She looked to him with hopeful eyes. Naruto? Will you stay by my side? Naruto nodded. I will. Promise it. Say that you promise it. She begged, and Naruto stood up and stretched his hand to her. I, Naruto Namikaze, promise you, Haku Momochi, to protect you and take care of you no matter what. Haku felt tears in her eyes form as she jumped and hugged Naruto and sobbed on his shoulder, saying, thank you, over and over again. Momo watched with interest the scene and tugged on her sister's sleeve. Hey Liz, are Naru and that girl, boyfriend and girlfriend? Liz sighed. No, Momo. They just met. Actually, Hinata said, they met a while ago. She then smirked as she closed her eyes, but I doubt that she can compete against me. Sasuke scoffed. From what I heard, he isn't even a little bit interested in you. Hinata glared at the uchiha. Who said that lie? She demanded, and Shikamaru yawned. Me. Naruto broke the hug with Haku and looked at her brown eyes. Let's go. Your new home waits. Emigekure. Leader, may I request something? A young man with red hair, brown eyes, and a black coat with red clouds asked another man with piercings all over his body, orange hair, and a purple eyes with rings across them. What, Sasori? Sasori looked at pain to his eyes. I want to recruit someone from Konoha. Who and why? Pain asked, and Sasori closed his eyes. His name is Naruto Namikaze, and he has a demonic sword with him. If we have him in our ranks, we would gain a lot of manpower. He explained, and Pain nodded. And how you plan on doing it? Sasori chuckled. Well, the holder of the sword will look for power. So I will simply offer it to him. Pain raised an eyebrow, and after some thought he closed his eyes. Fine. You will have permission to do this mission. But remember, if you put this organization in any type of danger. He opened his eyes, and his Rinnegan was shining. You will be punished. Sasori bowed his head. Understood, leader. You'll soon join my collection, Naruto. And done. That was Chapter 7 of Sword of Power. Hope you enjoyed. And now, a couple of things. I have an author block bigger than life right now. So, if you don't like this chapter so much or are disappointed with the fight, blame it to that. Haku falling to Naruto. Haku will cling to Naruto and depend a lot on him. She trusts him because Zabuza did. Sasori. Boy, he will do things a lot more interesting. A clue, he will do Orochimaru's role in the Chunin exams. And that's all. Remember to leave your review, that it helps my motivation. PM me for any doubt or suggestion. Follow and favorite the story and me. Till next time. Roy D. Harper. Next chapter, Moving Away. Chapter 8, Moving Away. Chapter 8. I'm back. Welcome everybody to Chapter 8 of Sword of Power. In this one, we will see the first days of Haku in Konoha. But before we start, some few things. As many already guessed, Katsuki is inspired in Katsuki from MHA/BNHA. He will get the better part of his personality after the Chunin exams, so don't worry. I thought they would be more meh. Less filler and more story then. Let's begin. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Jutsu name. Chapter 8, Moving Away. Haku was sat on the edge of Naruto's bed. When they arrived to Konoha, she was immediately taken to see the Hokage. For more that Naruto insisted, he wasn't allowed to be with her. The Hokage asked her some questions and decided that they will address her situation in the council. According to him, a new bloodline in Konoha is an important matter. The door opened, calling her attention, and she saw Naruto coming in with a tray with 2 bowls of ramen. Once her meeting with the Hokage was done, Naruto was waiting outside to make sure she was fine. He even offered her to stay with him at his house. She at first declined, not wanting to burden him and his family anymore, but after he insisted for a while, she accepted. I hope you like ramen. Mother cooks it most of the time, Naruto said, and Haku smiled at him. Ramen is fine. Thank you. Naruto nodded and started to eat his bowl, followed by Haku. She widens her eyes after tasting the meal. It is really good. Did Kushina cooked it? Naruto nodded. She usually does. She was a housewife until we graduated. She still keeps some things from that phase. Haku nodded. Naruto, is your family okay with having me here? Naruto shook his head. I don't think so. Mother doesn't trust you yet. Neither does Liz. Katsuki simply dislike you. Momo seems to be okay with this, but she is okay with everything. And your father? Naruto closed his eyes. I don't know, but I doubt he will have much problems with you being here, Naruto said, and Haku looked down. I hope I am not causing you too much trouble, Naruto. Naruto placed his hand on her face, making her look directly at him. Haku, I made a promise to make sure you were safe. I am not planning to complain to that and even less break it. So don't speak like that. Haku put her hand over his. Naruto. He gave her a soft smile and looked that it was already late. Let's go to sleep. You had a tough week. You can take the bed. Haku nodded with a small smile. Thank you. Night. Naruto was sleeping on a futon when he heard a whimper next to him. He stood up to see the form of the body of Haku shaking. He stood next to the bed and shook her with his hand, making her turn to him with her tear-stained face. What's wrong? Haku wiped the tears from her eyes and gave Naruto a weak smile. And nothing, Naruto. Just a nightmare. About Zabuza, wasn't it? Naruto asked, and Haku bit her lip as she sat on the bed. Naruto rubbed her back. Want to talk about it? Haku broke again in tears as she hugged and cried on his shoulder. She cried about what happened, how she misses Zabuza, and how she feels that this was her fault. Naruto listened to her cry and tried his best to comfort her, and surprisingly to him, it worked. Haku laid back, tired of crying, and Naruto was going back to the futon when she grabbed his hand. Naruto turned to her as she whispered, "Can you sleep with me? Please," she begged. Naruto thought about it before getting next to her on the bed. "Fine, if it helps." Haku smiled at him. "Thank you." Next morning, Haku started to wake up and noticed that there was something around her body. She looked to see some silver hair next to her. She blushed, remembering that Naruto slept with her last night. She tried to get up without waking him up, but sadly, she failed. Naruto opened one eye slowly and looked at her. "How did you sleep?" Haku got up and smiled to him better. "Thank you for making me company." Naruto nodded as he sat on the bed. "Don't worry about it. I promised that I would take care of you. That includes fighting off nightmares." Haku smiled at him and decided to go to the bathroom to let Naruto change. On her way to the bathroom, she found Momo talking to Liz as they brushed their hair. Momo was the first one to spot her. "Hey Haku, how did you sleep?" Haku smiled softly to the girl. "Good, thank you." "How was your night?" "Liz, Momo." "Fine," Liz answered, giving Haku a small and quick answer. Momo started to ask questions about Naruto to Haku, wondering what kind of relationship those two had. Haku only said that they were friends and nothing more. All this with Liz giving Haku a suspicious look. Liz dragged Momo out of the bathroom. "We need to be careful around her." Momo gave her sister a confused look. "Why? She seems nice and Naru likes her." Liz gave her sister a serious look. "Exactly. Naruto might seem tough, but he is soft in the inside. He is looking for someone that he can lean on, and because Haku offered him that, she will use all that he has to stay in the village." Liz said her theory as a matter of fact, and Momo gasped before nodding seriously. They will protect their big brother. That afternoon, Naruto. Wait! Naruto and Haku stopped their tour around the village when Hanabi called for him and run to him. "Hey, heard what happened in your mission? Are you okay?" she asked with a worried expression, and Naruto nodded with a small smile. "I am. Thank you for your concern." Hanabi smiled at him before turning to Haku. "Who are you?" Haku smiled at the Hyuga. "My name is Haku. Naruto was showing me around the village. I am new to it," she explained, and Hanabi grinned. "Yes, finally, you are being friendlier." She teased Naruto that snapped his tongue. Hanabi grabbed Haku's hands and started to drag her. "I'll come with you too. I make everything better, you know?" Haku giggled, and Naruto shook his head as he followed both girls. Haku and Hanabi were talking about everything while Naruto only listened. He was more attentive to what people were doing. A rumor that the apprentice of the Demon of the Mist was in the leaf shoot many people alarms. Some didn't care, other got worried, and some clans got an idea. He just kept making sure that nothing of importance happens. In the end, rumors are just that sometimes. Rumors. "Wait. You are the girl with the ice bloodline?" Hanabi asked, and Haku nodded, and Naruto raised a brow. "Yes. Have you heard of me?" Hanabi gulped, and Naruto looked at her with a stern look. "Hanabi, what's wrong?" "Well," Hanabi started, "I heard some of my clansmen talking about the new bloodline, and they want to integrate it into the clan." They stopped because Naruto knew what she was talking about. "They want to make Haku a breeding machine." "They can't do that," Naruto said. "I am going to talk to father. Don't worry. He'll make sure that nothing happens." He then rushed to the Hokage mansion to see what he can do to save Haku from that destiny. Hanabi looked the face of realization in Haku's face, and she patted her shoulder. "Don't worry. Naruto will find a way to help you." Hokage office. "What you mean there is nothing you can do?" Naruto exclaimed at his father that side. "I'm sorry, son, but because a bloodline can't go unchecked, it was decided that a clan will have to take care of her by union of marriage." Minato explained, and Naruto gritted his teeth. "Is there something I can do?" "Anything," Naruto begged, and Minato closed his eyes. "There is something, but you won't like it." Later that day, Namake's estate. What do you mean by that? Kushina screamed at Minato that flinched under her gaze. Well, Naruto came to my office looking for a way to save Haku to become breeding stock. And I kind of told him that to avoid that he dash Naruto's room. Would you marry me? Naruto asked Haku that got in state of shock at the question. What? Naruto held her hand and looked at her into her brown eyes. I'm sorry it is this quick, but it is the only way to avoid you going to a clan with the sole purpose of making babies. Look, I know you probably don't see me more than a friend, but if we don't do this dash, I accept. Haku said with a small smile, you saved me and gave me another chance in life. Naruto, I love you. Naruto was looking at Haku with wide eyes. He had listened a lot of things directed at him, but never a I love you. Naruto smiled softly at her. Tomorrow we are moving out. I have enough money to buy a small department. We can be together there. He can't explain why, but he is excited. All this, getting a new home to live in, live with Haku, maybe start a family one day. He smiled. This was the start of something great. Naruto packed up his things with help of Haku and they both walked downstairs together. Momo looked at them with a curious look. Hey Naru, where are you going? And why is your room empty? She asked and Naruto looked at her. After some seconds he patted her head and continued their way down. It all happened in a blur. Kushina begged for him to stay. Liz was trying to convince him that all this wasn't necessary. Momo was crying. Katsuki was watching from the stairs with some sadness, but he didn't show any expression and Minato only said, Good luck, son. We will be here for you. Naruto nodded at his father's words as he and Haku stepped out of the house. Naruto looked at his house for one last time before walking out to look for a new place to live with his fiancée, to start a new adventure. And done. That was Chapter 8 of Sword of Power. Hope you enjoyed. Now, a few things. I know that many are thinking like, ugh, you made Naruto into a pussy, or egg, what a softie. I wanted to show that Naruto is fighting without knowing the influence of Yamato. But do not fear because in the Chunin exams, Sasori is going to mess things up. Am I changing the pairing from Hanabi to Haku? I don't know. I honestly don't. I will think about it or you guys can give me your opinion on it. Don't worry. I always have a plan B if things need changing. And that's all. Remember to leave your review that it helps my motivation. PM me for any doubts or suggestions. Follow and favorite me and the story. Till next time. Roy D. Harper. Next chapter. Let the exams begin. Chapter 9. New Life. Chapter 9. I'm back. Welcome everybody to Chapter 9 of Sword of Power. In this one, I decided to make a change. Originally, I was going to go for the Chunin exams off the bat, but after reading some reviews, talking with a friend, I decided to make a focus between Haku and Naruto new relationship. And one last thing, I honestly don't know what to do with the pairing. The thing I know for sure is that I want that either Hanabi or Haku be the Naruto's girl. But I don't know who, and I honestly don't know if I can make a love triangle work. So, any review or PMs are welcome with open arms. But for now, enjoy this chapter. Legend. Talking. Thinking. Jutsu name. Chapter 9. New Life. Naruto and Haku were sat on the table of their small apartment while eating food that Haku prepared. They were eating in silence, neither really knowing what to say. They only had been living together for a day or two, that counting the night they stayed in the Namake's estate, and they don't know much about each other. Haku knows that he is a swordsman, decided to become stronger for reasons she doesn't know. He is kind of obsessed over his sword, and he has decided to protect her. Naruto knows that she is the last survivor of her clan, served under Zabuza and that she loves him. Not much at all. So, how had you been? Naruto asked and Haku smiled at him. Good, thank you. And you? I'm fine too. After that small talk, silence came back to the table. Naruto looked to the sides while Haku tapped her foot nervously. This is awkward. What should I say to her? What can I say? We barely know each other. So both said at the same time and so interrupting each other. You go first. Naruto offered and Haku nodded. Well, I was thinking that maybe we can go out and eat tomorrow night. Like a date. Haku said with a slight blush, and Naruto nodded slowly. Yeah, we can do that. That way we can know each other better. He smiled at her. Where would you like to eat? Haku smiled at him as she closed her eyes. Surprise me. She stood up, grabbed the empty bowls, and went to wash them in the kitchen. Naruto nodded as he rested his head on the palm of his hand. I'll do that. How? Haku, as she washed the bowls, started to have similar thoughts. Surprise me? Why did I say that? Now he will think that I can't do anything by myself. She scolded herself mentally. They didn't speak for the rest of the night, not knowing what to say exactly. They went to sleep on the futon that Naruto brought, and in there, they fell asleep. Next day. And that's why I need your help, Naruto said, finishing to explain to Ino what went down last night. Ino was giving him a neutral look. Let me see if I get this clear. You proposed to Haku, the same girl that tried to kill us. You make it sound bad when you say it like that. But yes. Then, you two moved out to a small apartment to live together, not knowing nothing of each other. We know a couple of things, but continue. And now you two have a date, and you don't know what to do. Am I right? Naruto nodded and Ino sighed. Okay. First things first. Where are you going to take her? Naruto shrugged. Don't know. I was hoping for you to tell me what to do. Ino I twitched a little before passing her hand across her face. For God's sake. Don't you have any experience with girls? No, I don't. Ino took a deep breath to calm herself down. This was going to be though. But for a friend, she can make the sacrifice. Okay, we are going to do a couple of things first. First we are going to go shopping. Then I will tell you what to do during and at the end of a date. Then we will practice. Understood. Naruto nodded. In what had he got involved in? With Haku. So, you think you can help me? Haku asked Kiba that raised a brow. You and Naruto got married? He asked like married. Haku blushed a little at the blunt comment. Not yet. We are just engaged. Damn. I envy Naruto for having someone like you as his bride. Anyway, what you need help exactly? His likes perhaps? She asked and Kiba nodded as he scratched his chin. Well, I don't know. The guy is really private about his private life. I know he likes his sword to train a Arf. Kiba snapped his fingers as Akamaru reminded him of something novels. He reads them in private, but he gets really into them. I think they are either romantic or horror. Haku nodded with a small smile. Thank you, Kiba. I appreciate. It wasn't too much information, but something is something. Kiba grinned at her. No problem. For my best friend's wife, anything. Haku blushed at the comment but smiled anyway. Thank you. With Naruto and Ino. What a waste of time. Naruto said as he walked across the village with Ino by his side. It is your fault, you know? You literally threatened to kill every tailor I took you. She exclaimed and Naruto closed his eyes. Their suits are too tight. They don't give me enough mobility. You are going to a date, not to war. You don't need mobility. Whatever. Naruto looked to the sky to see that the sun was already hiding. It is almost time and I still don't know what to do. Ino smiled, having a last-minute idea. Why don't you take her to the barbecue of Chuji's family? They have great food there. She suggested and Naruto nodded. I see. It might work. Thanks, Ino. No problem. Now go get her tiger. Hours later. The date was a mess. To start, Haku is vegetarian. They didn't even enter the place when she informed him of that. Second, that was his one plan and was hoping for the date to move naturally. And lastly, Haku had actually put on a fancier-looking kimono that she had saved for a special occasion, while he was still in his usual clothes. They were walking silently across the empty streets of the village. Naruto was frustrated. He had at least a base for a plan and it was all destroyed because of his stupidity. How the hell can he protect Haku? Give Haku the good life that she deserves, when he fails in such small tasks like this. He stopped as he looked to Haku that stopped some steps in front of him. I'm sorry. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Haku tilted her head as she looked at Naruto that still wasn't finished. Maybe I am not fit to protect you like I promised. And if I can't do that, I don't believe I can make you happy. If you wish, we can pretend to be a couple and dash. He stopped when Haku put a novel titled Man, Woman and Child in front of him. Naruto eyed it as Haku smiled softly to him. Kiba told me you enjoy this type of reading. I hope this novel will be of your liking. I don't have anything for you, Naruto said as he held the book. Haku giggled softly. I have you. That's more than enough for me. She held his face between her hands. Naruto, we don't know each other. But I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that if we put effort and patience into this marriage, it will work. You saved my life, and now I want to spend it with you. Haku. She smiled at him as she held his hand and guided him back home. Naruto looked at his hands, one holding Haku's hand, while the other holding both Yamato and the gift. He put the novel under his arm as he strapped Yamato to his waist. From a nearby bush, Ino and Kiba were spying on the pair. That date was a mess. Kiba muttered as Ino grinned. Who cares? Did you see how happy they looked? I didn't know Naruto had it in him. She whispered at him and Kiba rolled his eyes. I don't think he knows it either. Naruto knew his teammates are there, but he doesn't care. He was happy. But most importantly, Haku is happy too. And done. That was chapter 9 of Sword of Power. Hope that you enjoyed. I will not lie, I think that this one of my hardest chapters yet because I never wrote this type before. Hopefully I did a good job. Also, while writing this, I got an idea. Who shipped Ino x Kiba? No one? Neither did I. But it can be a nice little experiment. Tell me your opinion about that. And that's all. Remember to leave your review that it helps my motivation. PM me for any doubts or suggestions. Follow and favorite me and the story. Till next time. Roy D. Harper. Next chapter. Let the exams begin. /N. For real this time. I need help. Hey guys. There is no easy way to write this. You probably know me as Roy D. Harper. A fanfic writer that uploads a new story every week, and he really is inconsistent with uploads. But for the rest of the people that know me, my name is Cristobal Cantardo, or Chris for friends. I am 18. I live in Santiago de Chile, commune of Colina. This year I used to have a mom, but after 3 years cancer took her. That was 3 months ago. And now I am at risk of losing my dad too. He needs an open heart surgery and that is quite expensive. I honestly didn't want to do this, but I am desperate. I opened a. This is the first time I do something like this, so I hope it isn't too expensive. But besides getting a job, which in this time with COVID-19 is pretty hard, I don't know how else to help. My sister is making sweets to sell and I will get a job to do this. Will I have to leave school? I hope not, but I need the extra money. I know this is tacky, but please, if you enjoy my stories, if you enjoy my work, if you liked what I had bring the past 3 or 4 years to this community, I beg you for your help. I'll explain the tiers quickly. Tier 1. Read parts of not published stories. The title says it. The stories I am working on or left that never saw the light, you can read them. Or, read a teaser for a future chapter. Tier 2. Brainstorm with me. You have an idea for a story but don't feel like writing? Tell me your vision and I'll do my best to make it come true. Tier 3. Write with Roy/by story. We can write a story or chapter together. Or, this is harsh for me. For many reasons, by a story I stopped working on. This one we must talk first. For example, you want to buy Trader but it is 2 chapters for being finished, I will refuse, but you want to buy 5 hearts, I will do it. It depends in a couple of things. Again, I didn't want to resort to this, but honestly, I don't know what else to do. Thank you for reading and sticking with me for so long. In my ups and downs. I really wanted to avoid this. With love, Chris. Thank you. Like the title says, thank you. Thanks to all the support, all the donations to save my dad. My dad got his surgery, he is still in the clinic, I got a job, my sister did too, and I am going to close the pages of the donations, no more point of having them anymore. A special thanks to Will Stevenson, I am not sure what is the name of his account, Willow Hatch and Daniel Kim, also to Firefox 14 that they had been the major donors that I know that came from this page. Honestly, I am going to post more content now, I don't know other way to repay the support. Here, I am working on new chapters and new stories, and also, I decided to know you guys better by opening a Twitch account. My English is average and my gaming skills are below that, so if you want to laugh with me while I rage at LOL or Fall Guys, come by. I am Thief Gameplays. Once again, thank you. I know this is repetitive, but ever since I got my first follower in 2017, I think this had been my go-to hobby. And the reason is because I have a lot of people that read. And I want to thank the most loyal readers, the most constructive people that motivated me across this journey. Darth 56, Air Cabaro, D3LPH0XL0V3R, Cons 16, Wafenmia, Ma Boy, The Aussie Rogue, X3 Runner, JSS 2141, Spark 681, Zero Full Buster, Game Lover 41592, Roxas Itsuka, Edub 102. There are more, I know, but these people are the ones that I know I will read in the review section, and even some I know I can PM in case I am stuck with a story and need help. So that's all. I will try to update something today or tomorrow, depending how much time I have. But you'll have something. And if you want to chat with me, I stream on the weekends. Yeah. Take care in this crazy times, and I'll see you soon. With love, Chris Roy D. Harper Cantardo.